to record it. Okay, there we go. All right, here we go. In 3, 2, 1.
Why don't you take it easy in training? Next time, you might not be so lucky.
Tell that to Cypher.
Hello, and welcome to Core, everybody. This is Core for Thursday, July 28th, 2022. We are covering video games for you, with you, and around you. I'm Scott Johnson with Bo Schwartz and John Jagger, and today we got a lot to talk about. I think we're just going to get right to it. You guys missed out, though. Seriously, if you're not a patron of the show, you missed out on a amazing conversation while Bo was in VR and then also talking to us from VR. This will also be part of the video we put up on YouTube. So if you want to... Oh, no, it won't, actually. It'll just be in the VOD on Twitch. So you'll have to get it before it disappears. Oh, man. Oh. Anyway, it was great.
Can you cut it out? Maybe you put a little extra something up for...
Yeah, extra patron stuff.
Yeah, I could do that. You know what? I'll do that.
Cut out that video part and post it to Patreon for the patrons. I'm going to say patron a couple more times.
Yeah, just a couple times is all.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll do that because not only will that be great, but we like you guys a lot and we want to give you stuff. So watch for that. Coming soon. But for now, this. All right, some stuff went down this week. Let's get into this. If you were bummed out that you didn't buy Lawnmower Simulator back when it first came out, it's free on Epic today, and it's also on Game Pass today, I believe.
I guess it hurts.
Is that true?
I think so. I think Game Pass got it. Do I have that right? Hold on. Game Pass. I thought I saw this. Lawnmower Sim.
Maybe it's been there for a while. I put this at the top of the news because there was not a lot of news. Or there was a lot of news, but there's a lot of room at the top of the notes. And I was like, clearly, the thing we need to open Core on this week is that Lawn Mowing Simulator is free.
Oh, you know what? I'm an idiot. This actually came out forever ago on Game Pass. It came out on the 2nd of December last year. It's still there. So it was always on Game Pass.
Oh, great. Well, the news has never been more relevant. If you hate Game Pass, you can now get it on Epic.
Yeah, get it on Epic. I did that. I went and got it free even though I have it. I own it on Steam, have it on Game Pass, and I grabbed it on Epic because why not? Why not? I'm not going to install it 3 times, but it's there. If I ever need to go virtually mow a lawn and feel good about myself, then, Epic has me covered.
I think I'm going to go claim it. Just we've talked about it so much, I feel...
I claimed it too. I had no desire to play this game until I needed to claim it today.
But you said that about Power Wash, and then you played it, and you went, "Hey, I kind of."
I know. I said about House Flipper. I was like, I don't like cleaning my house. Why do I want to clean a virtual one? It turns out it was really good. Yeah. I might love it. Yeah. The only thing is, so a while back, I remember being very brutal towards a concept that Bo was very excited about, which was the idea of what if we get to a place in video games where you can smell them? And I was like, no, this is the worst idea I've ever heard. And it wasn't until Lawn Mowing Simulator where I was like, yeah, I mean, it seems like something I could get into, but I wish I could smell it.
Yeah, the odor of grass being cut and the engines and all that. Sure.
So I get it. Now I get it. All of a sudden I'm like, man, we need video games that smell. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I didn't need it until this instance, and now I do.
Yeah, this is our time. This is our place.
Yeah, you're focused on the wrong things, right? Like if you have a pooing simulator, you don't want to smell that. But if you've got a lawn mowing simulator, that's fresh lawn.
You need to be able to
fresh lawn in the morning.
I say all of it should do whatever they want with the smell-o-vision, but they got to let you turn it off. That's all.
Yeah.
know.
Well, I know how many sewers I've been in video games, and it's a lot. It's more than me as a human being have been in.
Yeah. Do you know how many sewers and rats we've killed in said sewers? It's been a lot in game time.
Or crates.
Or crates.
Like if I went down in a sewer and I didn't see a crate, I would be disappointed. And I'm pretty sure they don't actually live down there.
Yeah. Chat says they think that orc massage probably smells pretty bad.
It probably does.
Yeah. No, it could be like lilac.
Incense and lotions.
Sure. That's okay. All that stuff's,
Orcs.
Oh, wait. Now I take it all back. I don't want smell-o-vision ever. All right. Anyway, so there's that. If you didn't get it, just go grab it. It doesn't hurt to have it, even if you don't like Epic. Hey, get the free games. I get it every week, even stuff I own, because who cares? They're giving them away free. They're now there forever. Yeah. And once in a while, they release one that nobody else has that I get for free there that it turns out to be really great. There's this pinball game on there that I got completely hooked on some weeks ago. It was awesome. And I can't remember the name of it. It was so good, but it was rad. It was called Devil's. It's based on an old PC Engine slash what's that called here? We didn't call it PC Engine. We called it what was the old console, 16-bit console, the NEC one, TurboGrafx.
TurboGrafx 16.
Jeez. Yes, there was some stuff there called Demons something. Anyway, these guys made basically a spiritual successor to that, and it's this really cool video game, pinball game that if you didn't get it for free, then
I think I got that actually. Hang on, let me look. It's Demon's Tilt.
Demon's Tilt, that's it. And the old ones were Devil's Tilt or Devil's something. So they had to change the name because they don't own the IP, but they basically made a sequel to that, and they did it in a modern way, and it's beautiful. It's awesome. Really good stuff. Also very flashy, so if you got the seizures, maybe turn some of that off because the lights get going in that game. All right.
Okay. Just on a hilarious note here. Yeah. 1 second. I'm going to have a hilarious note maybe in a second. I just got to verify it first.
A hilarious note. Damn.
Okay, no, that's fine.
You don't have a hilarious note?
You can't set us up with a hilarious note.
I thought I owned GTA 5 in both Epic and Steam and didn't play it in either spot, but it's only in Epic. That's why I wanted to check.
Oh, I own it on all that.
I got it for free, but I still haven't loaded it.
I almost spent $14 on that this week because it was on sale on the Series X, and I love that kind of game.
Maybe did you pick it up for free on Epic? You should have a look because it might be on there.
No, I have it. I have like I say, Steam and Epic. I've got those versions, but if I want to sit on my ass on the couch, I just about did it. I almost bought Red Dead again too, even though I already own it on PC. Because I was just like, it'd be nice to have it over here.
But then on their launcher, and I never opened their launcher, and as a result, I almost bought it on Steam again.
Oh, because then you could have, I get it.
Because that's convenient. Because I've already got it open.
Yeah, you have it open. You're good to go. I hate that they did a launcher. Does anyone even use that thing? Like,
no.
What a dumb launcher that is. That's dumber than the Bethesda launcher, which kind of made sense. At least more sense than this did. They all don't make that much sense. But that one for all the Red Dead stuff, for all the Rockstar stuff is just freaking bad.
Well, maybe it'll see a lot of use when the new GTA comes out, which that's not in the news that we have, but the rumor is that for the first time ever, the main character is going to be a lady.
Isn't that I heard that was not true, that it was the first time ever if you count the games that, like, what was it called? There's some GTA game where the protagonist is a lady, and I can't remember what it is. So like somebody debunked
one
that.
1 or 2 or London, like one of those.
Something that old, maybe a handheld game. I can't remember. I don't know.
I don't think they've ever done it.
I'll have to look it up. I thought I saw something today, but one way or the other, in a modern sense, that's absolutely true. Like they haven't had in the 3D game since 3, they haven't had anything like that. So I'm all for it, and I look forward to seeing if they can. Rockstar known for being very satirical, but sometimes crossing certain lines.
Yeah.
And to see how they would write that, I'm curious about it. I've already seen there's of course there's the usual band of idiots who are mad about it, but I'm all in. I guess
always are. That's how people were with San Andreas, because that was a big deal back in the day, where it was, oh my gosh, the main character is going to be black. We have to, and everybody had to all of a sudden be very casually racist about it.
Yeah.
Because that's what I remember. I must have just been the age where I was actually absorbing the news around it, because it was the thing you heard from a lot of people where they were like, they can make the main character whoever they want. Just don't know if I like gangs. And like, that was what so many people were saying. And I was like, yeah, but you know what you're really saying, right?
Yeah, they know what they're saying.
But at the end of the day, you know what
they know what they're saying. They always knew. They knew then, they know now. I mean, the thing with me is, I think I liked the personalities and the different stories I got out of the 3-character thing they did with 5. And no one's played the story in 10 years or whatever. But I liked that. I thought Trevor was just weird. I thought the mobster guy, I forget his name, he was great. And I really liked, I can't remember any of their names. Why do I remember Trevor the meth head? I can't remember the other 2 guys' names. Anyway, that threesome idea was very core to the campaign of that game. Doesn't matter so much for this eternal MMO they have on their hands called GTA Online. But I wonder if they're getting rid of that and going back to a single character arc. I don't know. That part we don't know. So, well, Michael and Franklin, thank you, chat room. I knew you'd know.
I only remember Trevor, and I mostly remember him because he's on Better Call Saul.
Yeah, and other stuff.
Yeah, you see him pop up all over the place, and you're like, oh, it's Trevor.
He's great.
Like I've said it's Trevor so many times when watching. I think he was on Walking Dead.
Yep.
He was on Better Call Saul. He's just all over the place.
He was one of the, what's his name, Negan's lieutenant dudes.
Yeah.
That guy? That's
Trevor.
That actor? That's the voice actor, or is it actually modeled even after him?
It's
voice,
modeled after
yeah,
him, too.
modeled.
Oh my god,
modeled, voiced, and also mocapped. That dude.
I mean, he looks a little better held together.
Yeah.
In his other appearances, they definitely dishevel him a lot.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, it's him.
Yeah.
He's the guy that I think Mike takes the gun away from when they're getting ready to interview to try and be a bodyguard for that guy that's on What We Do in the Shadows.
Oh, yeah.
For Colin Robinson.
Colin Robinson, yeah. Oh, my gosh, I forgot about that. I got to get caught up on that show. I've heard nothing.
Yeah, I just started watching it, but I fell off for Better Call Saul. But yeah, I like the Energy Vampire. I
got to get back to it. Oh, dude, freaking Colin Robinson is a national hero. I freaking love him. Anyway, there's that. Lawn mowing simulator. Go check it out, everybody.
Yeah.
I don't know how we got to all that other stuff. Oh, just free stuff on Epic, I guess. Nier Automata. Am I saying it right? I don't know.
I think it's Automata. Somebody
Automata?
always gets mad whenever we try and say the name.
Okay.
Isn't it Nier?
Nier Automata?
Like, think of nice, right? N-I-C, nice. Why is it Neir? It should be Nier.
Well, there's like Lear, Weir, Tier. I'm trying to think of how do you spell tier? Like, there's a multi-tiered system. You wouldn't say.
I mean, I got a terrible thing to say about it. I don't even think I should say it because it's not great.
Oh,
but
you don't like Nier?
You add two G's to that, and that's not a good word.
Well, no, but I think you could probably find some other words.
I'm
like
just
that.
saying. I'm like looking at the word, and I'm like, this is a troublesome pile of letters.
I've never seen anybody say that before, but now I can't unsee it. Anyway, they told Elden Ring to hold my beer when it comes to video game door stories in 2022, and John's going to explain why. John, what the hell?
Yeah, I figured this was a bit of a niche thing that only I was getting into, but I fell down a rabbit hole, and apparently I wasn't the only one because... so you all remember the Elden Ring story about the door, where the internet just blew up because there was a wall that if you hit too many times, it turned into a doorway, and it all of a sudden became this, oh my gosh, what is this going to become?
Yeah.
Well, Nier has decided to trumpet as far as door stories go, because what happened was on the one of the Nier subreddits, a user, let me get his name because he's got a funny name. I like it.
Doorfinder.com.
No, not doorfinder.com,
okay.
but
Door Authority.
So there was a user on there, Sad Fudigo, just got on there and said it was a very like kind of innocent post and just said, "Hey, can somebody tell me how to get into the church? Because I've done it and my friend can't." And everybody was like, "What are you talking about?" And this is a game that the community believes all the secrets of Nier have been solved. There's no more horizons. In fact, the creator has even said as much. But now all of a sudden, somebody pops up, says, "Hey guys, how do you get in this church?" And everybody thought he was just messing. And then he started posting videos of being in this church. And then the modder community said, "We don't know what this person's talking about. We don't know how this person's showing what they're showing." And now everybody is trying to figure out if this person is lying, has discovered something that nobody else can find, is actually a brilliant modder pretending to be a mild-mannered, seemingly kid on Reddit, just posting about weird things, or if this is all some elaborate marketing scheme for the upcoming Switch release of the game.
Yeah.
And nobody can decide what it is because nobody can replicate it. He is literally the only person who can get into this place. And even modders are going through to try and recreate what they have shown in footage, and they're having a hard time doing it. So there is this big uproar in the community as everyone tries to figure out, what the hell is this? And because of the nature of the Nier series and the creator, there are some people that are saying, if there was ever a game where one version of the game was different than everybody else's version just to mess with people, it'd be one of his games.
Interesting.
And nobody knows what to make of it. So it's still developing. I don't know.
What's your theory?
We don't know if it's real because nobody else can go there.
Do you have a theory? What do you think is going on here?
I don't know.
God tier viral marketing.
Look, the creator of this game, when he's interviewed, wears a giant moon over his head.
What?
I don't think we can ascribe anything normal to what's going on with this. Yeah. Like, who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
I'm just happy that it exists. Oh, did he talk about it?
Did he? Chat saying they did.
Chat saying he weighed in. At the time that I last looked at it, I don't think he had said anything.
Well, why is he being so cagey, though? That part
because he wears a moon on his head, Scott. And it's fun, and everybody's talking about his game again.
I guess so. My guess, okay, if I had to guess, all this smells like they need to drum up some psycho interest in the Switch release. That's what I think is going on. And I really like that game, by the way. I need to finish it, but I really like my time in Nier.
How do we know the guy who found it isn't an employee of a secret agent?
We don't.
Like
that's the thing. People have begun investigating the user because naturally they were like, well, what else does he post on Reddit? And apparently the user is coming across a bit as a kid that also doesn't have English as his primary language because a lot of the conversations with him are very stilted or just repeating things that people are asking him back to them. But Scott's vote is this is the Angel of Springfield.
Yeah.
Like, that's what we're doing here. It's going to rise up and tell us about a brand new shopping mall. I'm going to say this is a old version of the game. Somehow this kid's playing on and managed to do something nobody else has done. I'll just go with it's legit and it's nothing more than that.
All right. No, that'll be fun. Bo, anything to break the tie here or the standoff, or what do you think this is? Think this is Square screwing around?
I think if people can't replicate it, there's definitely shenanigans going on. If he's shown how to do it and they can't do it.
Yeah. It also just looks like he just went up there and got a prompt and opened it.
Yeah, that's what he says. It was like, I just hit circle.
It might be conditional based on other things that you've done. So like the most basic version of the secret is walk up to an invisible thing, get the prompt and go in, right? But what if you only get the prompt if you did input a certain combination of commands in your controller? What if you only get it if you do certain milestones or certain things in a run? Like there could be any number of things. And I guess the confusing thing is I don't know if these are backwards reverse engineered to look at the code, because generally it's got enough people interested at this point. People are probably going to go in and look, try and gain if they can. I don't know if that's possible to decompile and look at the code and figure out what's going on.
But I like how meta it is. I also hate how Facebook changed their name to Meta, so every time I say Meta, I think of them and it pisses me off. But I like how meta this story is. I like when games get weird and it extends to the outer universe, and we all are like poking our heads in there and trying to figure out what's going on, and this obscure thing becomes like this weird viral everyone needs to know. I like that stuff. So regardless of the end result here, John and I will have a little bet, but I kind of just like that it's happening. Unless it turns out at the end it's like Square made the whole thing up because they're trying to drum up. If that's what's going on, freaking 2 middle fingers right up the hooter. Forget that.
I think it would be hard for Square to do it because it seems like that would be a business decision, and usually those sorts of things don't turn into the video game itself is altered. I guess I did read somewhere that they've confirmed the person is playing on a launch version of the game that has never been patched.
Like a vanilla version,
yeah. Yeah. And who knows?
I see that.
Who knows? I'm so excited to see where it goes.
I am too.
Like I was kind of hoping it would be resolved so we could just talk about the entire arc of it. But I mean, we'll obviously check back in with whatever it is, but it's so strange. And I love these things. Oh, okay. So Chad is saying that Yokotaro weighed in by pointing out his Twitter profile. I can't answer about any products. Please ask publisher.
Wow.
So
wow.
we're not getting any information from him. So who knows?
Yeah.
I'm legitimately excited to find out what
I am too.
Even if it's an advertisement, like, okay, fine. Like, because
Yep.
this is interesting marketing. It's not just like buy Doritos and get an in-game item.
Yeah, you got
it. We don't know if it's marketing or not, right?
No, we don't know. That's what I think it turns out to be. John thinks it's.
Or I mean, if it is a long, I don't know.
Long con?
Long, like if they did it from launch expecting it at some point to get discovered.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you got
I don't know. Some things don't get discovered. There's some secret in some game that didn't get discovered till now, like in Legend of Zelda or something like that.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Aren't there?
Like,
that's always happening.
You can't bank on it depending on how obscure you make the thing. So
wasn't there a recent Doom 2 or Doom 1? So there was something recently that somebody discovered, like another secret room. Not the John Romero room where his head's floating. That's old school. But like there was something else, like a secret. I freaking can't remember. But I do like that when that happens, especially when like the developers know about an Easter egg and they just sit on it for years.
Yeah.
And then suddenly it pops up because some dude did a speed run and did it by accident. And you're like, dude.
Yeah, amazing games done quick is usually where you start to learn about all these things that the community knows about. And you're like, what?
Yeah. Interesting.
That's in this game. That's what makes watching those broadcasts interesting. In addition to the speed run, is finding out the actual weird secrets or things, the developer worlds that gets put into games to test them. And stuff.
Yeah, that stuff fascinates me.
Or even just weird exploits, like, man, we found a weird way to make the game do something it wasn't supposed to. Which I'll have another one of those stories later in what I've been playing.
Oh my, okay, all right, we'll get around to that.
I'm curious to find out that these are interesting stories. I agree with John. It they're wholesome and great for gaming.
Yeah.
And they're fun, which is what video games typically should be. It's a hell of a lot better than like, hey, here's how they're monetizing this. Like, it's just better. I like when video games are dumb and fun.
Well, good news, John. They're making the sexy Cloud action figure, and there's no NFT involved.
Hell yeah, finally.
Yeah, finally. It's happening. Look at this guy. Well, yeah, it's a guy, right? It's him cross-dressing because there's a whole thing in the game. I haven't gotten to that yet, but
yeah, I guess this is tiny spoilers for Scott since he's playing it, but there is a section of the game where this might be how you look. This is not a prompt. This is not a guaranteed look.
No, but you might. And I've heard of it before. However,
it's like it's in the trailer. Right? Like in the trailer for the game, much ado was made because it's dressing up to infiltrate Don Corneo's lair base is part of the original story.
Don Corneo, good lord.
Don Corneo. Imagine if Don Corneo was in Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad. Like all the Dons get together. Is Don Juan and Don Elodie. What's that? John, who's that Don? The big Don in Breaking Bad.
Don Eladio.
Eladio. Yeah.
There's Don Eladio. There's Don Hector.
Yeah.
And Don Juan, and I guess Gustavo's not a Don.
Gustavo's
Don Corneo's there, and yeah, he's a gas. We'll just say that.
He's a gas.
He's a gas.
All right, we're using like 1940s terms today to describe these characters. I love it.
He's a real gas, you guys.
Anyways,
the statue's hot.
Yeah, it's hot. I'll explain later why I'm not far enough to see Cloud in his dress yet. Because
By the way, this avatar is available in VRChat. I didn't have him favorited, but if you go to the Final Fantasy world, which contains Final Fantasy's avatars from all the Final Fantasies, you can get this
Cloud thing. And he, Cloud has always been, for the record, pretty androgynous in many ways. If I looked at that and didn't know that was Cloud, if someone hadn't told me, I might have, having not played that part of the game, I probably would have said, oh, that's a pretty anime lady. I don't know who that's supposed to be.
He gets complimented a lot on his ability to present as a female by the other character. They're like, wow.
By the people who literally dressed him, they're very impressed with their work.
Yeah, it's pretty muscly. Look at that, he's ripped. Well, anyway, good. I don't know why I'm focusing so much on the physicality of this, but anyway, there's the thing. John, you gonna buy that?
He's hot.
You're gonna put that on your desk. I can see it.
I wouldn't be opposed to owning it, but I don't have the money to buy it, so.
Gotcha.
I don't think I'm going to be bringing this one home. I am glad there's no NFT attached to it.
Yeah, same.
That's exciting.
When's your birthday?
Yeah, when is your birthday?
August.
August. Oh.
This thing's gonna sell out, dude. Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
it is, isn't it?
Everybody's gonna get it.
It's gonna be easier to get a Steam Deck than this guy.
Yeah. You know what? Maybe you'll just live vicariously through some chatterbaiter guy who's got one and it's doing something.
Ooh, chatterbaiter.
I have something to admit. I didn't know what chatterbait was until a week ago today. Somebody explained what it is.
Associated with how you discovered this.
Yeah. No, it's actually boring. He just said, "Oh, are these guys just hanging out on chatterbait all night?" And I'm like, I don't know what that is. What is that?
So you went there?
No, he just told me, explained it. I still haven't gone. So it's basically
you
Twitch
for
porn stuff, right? Is kind of the idea, I think.
Sorta. Yeah.
I'm not sure. I think didn't I go there as part of some research we did on one episode? I remember talking about.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know what site I went to, but it's a cam site. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay. So people on cameras doing live streams. That's how it was described to me. Doing all kind of dirty, and then
chat and you bait.
Yeah, but you can give people.
It's not a weird name. It's an accurate name that describes the process.
Right, and then people throw money at them. Right, you can do kind of like bits or whatever. I think it might actually be what inspired most of how Twitch works. Oh,
yeah.
Because my understanding is that a lot of Twitch's ideas came from, I don't know if it was Chatterbait, but came from cam girls and stuff like that, where it was like, hey, these are really interesting models that people are using to make money on these platforms. What if we, Twitch, decided to take some of that?
Sure.
So,
yeah.
Once again, porn influencing our current.
That's the foundation of the entire internet thing is porn.
Yeah, that's how your VR thing.
It's under the house. You don't see the basement, but that's the basement.
That's how your VR world will take off the fastest, Bo. It has to really go hard in that direction.
Yeah, did I tell you that? I didn't talk about it that week. That was my favorite moment ever in VRChat. As a quick tangent, I'm in the Orion dance club. Everyone's dancing, and the DJ cuts the music, and he's like, picks up the mic, which amplifies his voice, and goes, "Who's ERPing on the dance floor?"
What does that mean?
If you continue to ERP, I'm stopping the music set.
This is a role-playing erotic.
Erotic role play. Yeah.
Oh.
So somebody, because you can hear everyone chatting, so somebody might have been making some sounds or doing something. The DJ heard somebody ERPing. So he cut the music. There's no music. Everyone's talking. You can hear it much louder now. And then everyone shuts up. And he's like, "Who's ERPing on the dance floor? I'm going to cut this set. If you keep it up, this is a public room. Anyone could be in here. Stop it now."
What?
And then the whole room's like quiet. And then they're all like, "Wasn't me. Maybe it was that guy." You know. and then after some time of silence, and I'm watching this, and this is a hilarious moment. It's like Kanye West stopping his concert because the people weren't appreciating his music enough. He's like, "I'm DJing here.
Wow.
Do not ERP while I'm DJing."
Why don't they call it ERPing instead of ERPing? ERPing sounds more fun to say. ERP.
Because people think you're playing Wild West Gunslinger in that case.
Oh, then you can't. Yeah, no, Wyatt ERP. Wyatt Erotic Roleplay is his full name.
Yeah. So just on that one note, Roman Pot says sounds like a buzzkill. It was a public room, so you got to remember anybody can be. Just because the avatar looks like they're the age of consent doesn't mean they are the age of consent.
Yeah,
if you're in a public room, you need to freaking watch what you do if that's the kind of adventure you're getting into in the online space.
Chat room's right. I would be derping.
You're going to be living in that neighborhood in Arrested Development that wants to all be near George Michael.
Yeah, the things I learn here on the show. So, is there places in that? Sorry for the tangent here to continue, but are there places in VRChat where it's like, it's all ERPing in here? Get in here and ERP.
Oh yeah, there's a brothel.
The red light district.
There's a full brothel. I think it's called the D Club or something like that.
Really?
Or maybe it's the B Club. I don't know. It's got a name, but yes, there's a brothel, and you make a private instance. You invite people you know that you should trust, and then you can have phone sex, I guess.
Wow.
With your avatars. Actually, this is what we're going to get to the mods in a minute, but I've just give you, because I don't want to talk about this during that segment, so we'll make it here because it's funny. There are mods for that game, which now no longer work, that integrate with like sex toys.
That's what they were doing.
Some of the modding community actually integrates with those automated sex toys, and you go into a private virtual room and do adult stuff. You would do it in real life. I mean, it's just with graphics, but
Yeah, but you're doing it because one of you is Pikachu with a ding dong, and the other one's freaking, I don't know.
This is why metaverse sucks.
It doesn't always have to be Pikachu.
It doesn't have to be.
Just assume, but it could be.
It sure could be.
Thing. It could happen.
I mean, it could be. What do they call those? Like give me the name of a plant. You could be a ficus.
Okay, whatever. A ficus, sure.
What is a ficus a plant? I don't know. Ficus.
I'm a lover, not a ficus.
Yes, you could be a ficus. You could be a ficus in the ERP. It's you can do whatever you want.
All right, but if you wanted, you could be Kirby and Snorlax and a maid, and no one knows who anyone is behind all of that. It's probably 3 dudes, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Whatever. It's fine. Be who you want to be.
It's consenting adults enjoying things as they want. You just have to make sure they're adults. And
how do you make sure though? You don't know. That's the problem. How do you?
Well, you should know them in real life. Get on a video call with them. You should. You have to be a responsible person. If you're having random encounters with strangers on the internet, have you not watched that Chris guy on how to catch a pedophile? You go into a chat room and aid sex location. That's how this works. Do not do that. At your own risk. You might meet Chris. You just do not do it.
Chris, I forgot his last name. Chris Anderson?
Hemsworth?
Yeah, Chris Hemsworth to Catch a Predator. That's the show.
Hanson.
Hanson, not Anderson.
Chris Hanson.
Yeah. What is it? What are you doing here, guys?
But didn't he get in trouble? Sorry,
I think they did get in trouble, but I think it was for... Wasn't that because somebody killed themselves?
Was that what it was? I thought he was kicked off the show because here it is, dismissal.
Oh.
They declined to renew his contract, and they ended his tenure of 20 years with the network. Let's see. Hold on. Why can't I find personal life, legal issues? Here we go. In 2019, he was charged with larceny after a check bounced with a vendor who delivered promotional items. He turned himself into police in Connecticut for bouncing checks worth $13,000.
Oh my!
And let's see, charges were dropped later though, even though he turned himself in. Hanson was charged with harassment of a civilian in 2020. Let's see, is that all there is? I thought there was something else where he was kind of doing a thing that was kind of like the people he was busting, but maybe I could have totally misheard that.
I think that's conflating it. Although cashing bad checks, you probably shouldn't do that. He probably sat down next to a mirror of himself and said, "What are you doing here today, bud?"
Yeah, what are you doing? you got a check there you're gonna write that's not good. You gonna write that check? Oh no, he starts talking like those guys with their hats pulled down and looking all nervous.
What do you have in your wallet there?
Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't look like nothing. You got checks in there?
I used to like that show because I just thought, well, here's the problem though. They wouldn't blur faces, and the truth is if you have to consent to not have your face blurred. So the ones that wouldn't blur their face, I went, what did they give you to do this? Because at the end of it,
probably paid extra, yeah.
Yeah, you're paying a pedo to show his face. That seems insane to me.
Yeah, but don't they take the money away from them? Like, here's $100,000. Can we show your face? Sure. Then the cops go in and be like, we're confiscating all your assets.
Have them sign before the cops get there.
I never thought of that,
Yeah. That's funny. I don't know.
Yeah,
I know that's how it worked on cops and stuff.
Oh, chat says if they're guilty, you don't have to blur them. Is that true?
Is that true?
I learned that from chat, and I don't know why I decided to trust them, but...
That feels like I follow a Twitter account called Bad Legal Takes. I feel like he might repost that. I'm not sure that's correct. I could be wrong. I don't know. That's the problem.
It might be. It's right up there with, are you a cop? You have to tell me if you're a cop. Like, maybe.
And is that? I don't even think that's true. I don't think.
No, that is not true.
Yeah.
That's a Breaking Bad. Demystified that. That's
true.
How
they did.
Badger gets busted.
Oh, that was so good. Badger, future Final Fantasy character. All right.
Yeah.
Enough of that. I have a whole tab up about Chris Hanson. Let me close that. All right.
There's someone in the chat too. I think this new Sethios. If you're still here, sorry, man. He's everyone at first. He was like, I heard this was a core gaming show. And everyone's it's a gaming show. Now we're talking about Chris Hanson. He's like, What's going on?
It's my fastest growing show on the network. We've never had a faster growing show. I don't know what to tell you. It's doing great.
It is a video game show, but there's frequent commercial breaks and tangents on it.
I just hope Scott enjoys his life on the list that he just got added to for looking up VRChat and Chris Hanson in short proximity to one another.
Whoops. Yeah. Well, it's all. I should get a VPN. All right. Let's get past that.
NordVPN. Let's get NordVPN. Let's get a sponsorship.
Exactly. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, the remake, had us all pretty excited recently, and it's now paused because there's a big studio shakeup. Apparently, things are kind of a mess. That bums me out because I was really looking forward to this remake, and it sounds like we may not be getting. Well, we'll probably still get it, but it's in limbo at the moment.
I don't know. I wouldn't bet on it coming out, honestly.
Really?
At this point.
Really?
Yeah. Here's what I would say. I don't think it comes out at all. But if it does, I think it's going to come out under a different studio.
Weird.
Yeah, one of the things I heard that I didn't realize about the team that's behind it is that they are not known for original IP. They do ports.
Yeah,
so
Asper,
we're not talking. Not that doesn't mean anything. There are great companies that have done ports.
Yeah.
And
Asper's been around forever.
Came up.
They've been around forever.
Obsidian, I think, is an example of that. So
yeah.
It isn't the negative that some people might take it as, but if their revenue doesn't come from any of their own intellectual property or something like that, it might spell doom for the studio if like top people within the company are out. This is 2 directors on the game.
Asper's been doing this for a long time. I remember they did the PC version conversion of the first Halo PC appearance years and years and years ago. So Asper's been around for a while. It says here on June 30th, Asper finalized a demo of the game known as a vertical slice. This makes me hungry to say that for some reason. To show to production partners at Lucasfilm Ltd. And Sony as well. The developers are excited about it and felt like they were on track, according to a person familiar with the project, so they were shocked by what happened next. The very following week, the company fired design director Brad Prince and art director Jason Miner. Let's see. Neither responded to requests for comment, but Miner suggested on social media page that this dismissal was unexpected. Let's see. Representatives for Asper and Embracer did not immediately respond, but studio heads of it. So that's about all we know. So we don't know but there's apparently it's all people are flipping out, and it may not happen the way we want it to.
So this sounds more business related and not like the directors did something bad, right?
This does to me, but who knows?
Well, I mean, if they came out and said it was unexpected, like if they were guilty of something, I imagine there'd either be some sort of shitty, placated response, like or no response.
Yeah, that's what I would have thought.
Looking at you, Blizzard, some Blizzard people that got bounced
Hello,
for
Blizzard.
bad things, but
hello, China. Sorry.
If they're kind of like if they're out publicly saying like, well, that was unexpected, okay, then maybe this is more of a business thing.
Well, and even if it does come out, like hearing that sort of thing doesn't give me a ton of good faith for the product because, it kind of implies, and we've heard this a lot, that there's a lot of, I don't know if this is the right term, like railroading when it comes to like big IP like Star Wars. Like we heard that when EA got in so much trouble over its Battlefield 2 microtransactions. And they said, well, a couple people talked about it and said, well, a lot of people said we should just do cosmetics, but you guys don't understand. Disney told us we were not allowed to do cosmetics. Like we could not change the appearance of these characters in the way that you all were requesting.
Yeah, I remember.
And it sounds like maybe that trend is still continuing. A very like strong micromanaging of the IP in a way that doesn't allow creative visions to foster and exist.
Seems like they loosened some of that up toward I know that thing's full of skins now.
Yeah, I mean, it's better. It's gotten better. I have a feeling it was one of those, like, you can't do that, you can't do that, and then all of a sudden everybody was mad at them, and it was like, well, why didn't you do that?
Yeah, plus you can show
it's
data.
It's a bunch of people trying to cover their own butt.
For sure. And they ended up showing data, too, I'm sure, that said, hey, look, we're showing our most profitable, like, buy-in here is skins. Like, we're dumb for not doing this. That probably happened. But yeah, you're right. They're notorious for this, and it bites them in the butt.
What if they found out how much mobile's making? They're like, why are we doing this again?
Mm. Why
are we remaking an old game for only a couple of $100 million?
Could be. Yeah, for the measly price.
For a measly profit of $500 million?
Yeah. I hate that. Gosh dang it, I hate that. You're right, but I hate it. Well, anyway, that's the thing. We'll keep our eye on it. Meta Quest. We were just talking about it. There's mine over there. I wish I could reach it. That thing just it's about to get a hike to $100 more than it currently is. And we don't really have a reason for it. It's 2-year-old hardware. There's a lot of weird shake-up-y stuff going on at Meta right now, /Facebook, where they're saying all kinds of weird things about a lot of the stuff kind of up and down the organization. And one of them was, we're going to hike that up. Now, a couple of theories I read about. One is Apple is probably going to release their mixed reality headset this year or announce it.
Yeah, that was news to me.
That is coming. I think that it's been known that they've been working on that for a long time, but it looks like it's pretty clear it's going to be this year. Or they'll
in reading this article, Scott, though, now that I have the headset and realizing the kind of good foot forward Apple often does with their hardware, expensive as shit too, though.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I'm like they're high resolution screens. Like,
I know, dude. You'll get
could
something
be
nice.
Like a phenomenal piece of hardware. I'm actually like super stoked about the Apple headset.
I am as well. The trick here though is so one of the theories leads into that or comes out of that, and that is that Facebook may have had leaked to them what Apple is planning to sell theirs for. And they went, my gosh, why are we at $299? This is stupid. We can make more money. And that's why the hike. That's just one theory that's going on. It's based on a couple of interviews and a Mark Gurman article and some other stuff. And that guy's usually right about Apple stuff. So if that's the case, that's probably why Meta did it. This still makes them one of the cheapest solutions on the market by far. But maybe they were worried it would look dumpy to have a $299 device when Apple comes out with $599, and everyone's like, well, that's because that's like, that's the cooler one, that's the better one, that's all these reasons why to get it, including the stuff you just said. And maybe they were like, well, we got to price this up some to not look so stupid. Otherwise, I don't have an explanation for this. I don't think it's inflation.
Might be their own products too. So earlier this year, Zuckerberg showed off 4 different prototypes, and I'm guessing that the prototypes are going to be more expensive. What they didn't do with Quest 1 and Quest 2 is keep it as a 2-tier option. Yeah. Quest 1 out, Quest 2 in.
Yeah.
What I think they need to do is have tiers of models.
Yeah.
So Quest 2 is not going to get deprecated, I'm thinking. So you're right about it being cheap. Why are we giving the house away?
Yeah.
But part of it being cheap is to get it into as many hands as possible. I know from me, I was resistant, and I wish I didn't wait so long to buy a Quest 2. And a lot of people out there, like I stream my VR stuff, and a lot of people are like, I can't really watch this, or I'm not really, once you kind of understand what someone's doing in the Quest, I think it's actually watchable. But not enough people sort of understand or get the experience or relate. Like it's not something they do, so it's not really interesting content most of the time. So I think it's just about market penetration. Like I think they made the play to get it in as many hands as possible, like Xbox is doing with their cheap Xboxes model.
Sure.
So that everyone has Game Pass.
Yeah, lost leadership is what it's called normally, right? Like you
but out. I think on the back end, I don't think they're making crazy software sales. Like I get a Quest 2 and I'm buying everything on Steam.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm buying things on the Oculus Store all that much because everything runs better on PC. And then I just like my Steam library. Steam has rad games and it's my Steam library. And so.
Yeah.
I don't think they're following up on the software sales of it, and maybe the long-term plan has shifted because the rest of their business they reported losses for the first time, I think, this quarter overall. From Facebook and stuff.
Yeah, and a lot of it was in the lap of the VR division. So
and I think they've already sunk a lot of money into it.
Yeah.
It seems like Zuckerberg's still committed to VR, but Metaverse, they must be evaluating Metaverse right now because Metaverse hit like a wet diaper, I guess. Like, or not a wet diaper, but a diaper full of poo. Everyone's like, ew. Like, they try to make it so exciting, and there's nothing exciting about it. It looks like, what if you had your corporate-ass meetings you can't wait to get out of in VR? And everyone's like, you know what I mean? And, what if your clip art was in 3D space? Like, there was no badass shit in any of that presentation. No. and that's where they dropped the ball, because I think they have the structure and money and they have everything they need to otherwise make it a metaverse actually a cool thing, but they just did not present it very cool at all.
I saw a guy in VRChat that was Mark Zuckerberg's model, but it had legs. But it looked like the model he's been using in their Horizon Worlds demos. And he was walking around role-playing as Mark Zuckerberg, going, so you can see the metaverse was... And he was talking like that the whole time.
Yeah. See, people want legs. See, that's the thing about the sanitization. Yeah. I know it's grody, guys. I know not all of you are a big fan of this. I don't want to make this a blue show. But the fact that people can have legs and people who can't walk can put a headset on and walk in VR.
Yeah,
it's everything. You know, they can present in ways that they can't in real life. That fantasy is huge, and people living out fantasies isn't exactly corporate friendly. Right? You don't want a guy dressed as Batman delivering your reports. You know,
right?
So. I think that's a short-sightedness.
A guy dressed as Batman bringing me my reports sounds like the preferable way to get your damn reports. I like that.
Doesn't
way
it?
Better.
Yeah.
But not if you work at a company. That's a disciplinary action.
Yeah,
right.
You're right. You're right.
That's a performance review noting that you have a lack of professionalism and you need to change.
Well, we'll see how the price affects them moving forward.
I wanted to say one more thing about the headset.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think it's totally fine. So there's a lot of drama. Like, people like to bash Meta because a lot of reasons.
Because they're Meta, yeah.
So this is like a negative for consumers. Yeah. So obviously there's articles, but I actually think it's still worth the price.
Also, I forgot to mention this. This price increase doesn't happen until January. So if you buy one now, you're getting it for the $299.
January?
I thought it happened in August.
Oh,
I thought there was only 4 days left to do it. I heard.
Oh, I missed that completely. I thought they said 2023.
Yeah, this article doesn't say, but I'm pretty sure I saw a couple days left.
Yeah, I thought next month is when it's going up, is what I heard.
Let me look this up. I think
if
that would make more sense to me, because otherwise it just felt like a money grab. But
yeah, August 1st.
Oh, geez. So you've got till Monday.
Till this weekend to save yourself $100 if that was something you were already going to buy.
I wonder if it'll like soar in sales briefly. Probably, right?
Maybe. I mean, I know I was on the fence for a long time. If I was still on the fence, I'd be strongly considering it, knowing I'd want to get it eventually. Yeah. And I know this is a salesman pitch. I'm going to sell things. I don't like to make people stressed or tell people to buy things. But honestly, a VR headset's pretty cool.
I
agree.
It's
if you like gaming and you want to just try it in a different way, you won't play it 80 hours a week, but it'll be a cool experience. And I mean, I keep going back to mine. So
yeah. Oh, should mention too.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I'm sorry to undercut this, but I got my lawnmower simulator today, free on Epic, as heard at the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
And because I left Epic up, I have some late breaking news that decided to interrupt my show notes.
Oh no! What?
John Cena just got added to Fortnite. Everybody,
that's
get it.
Can you see him when he's in the game? Can you see him?
No, it's a big advantage. You can't shoot what you can't see.
Oh shit!
Wow.
Yeah, it's part of the Epic SummerSlam, y'all.
Pay to win. The game is now pay to win.
Pay to win.
You buy the John Cena skin,
and you win.
It's done.
Can't lose.
Also, what I meant to say earlier and I didn't is that this is true. This is actually only $70 higher because technically they're giving you Beat Saber for free if you buy it after this. So when it's $3.99, Beat Saber comes with it, which is normally a $30 value. So there's that.
Sweet.
It's not bad.
There you go.
It's not bad. I already own it, but I already have it.
Beat Saber is a game I would immediately get if I got a VR headset.
Yeah, it's kind of a killer app in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I still haven't tried that one.
Oh, it's fantastic. You'd love it. It's super chill.
Sure it would.
Yeah. And the PC one has a couple of advantages though, because there's a big community of everybody converting like songs that aren't legally.
So I should get it on Steam, not on Oculus.
Yeah, as much as I hate to say it.
Meta, you don't know how to make money.
Yeah. I mean, it's just whatever. It's again, PCs it's a little hackery. So, and I don't know if that's changed. I know in the early days of Beat Saber, that was definitely true, where you could get whatever popular songs you wanted, and somebody had made the stuff out of it.
It might be unofficial. Like Rocksmith, you can get custom songs, but they are not approved.
Yeah, same with this. These are not legal, I don't think.
Yeah, I feel like I can go to YouTube and search any song Beat Saber and find somebody playing it. So
yeah.
Yeah,
that is correct.
I mean, once again, it goes back to, if you're going to do it, you want the Wild West version of it. That's what everybody wants.
Yep.
Nobody wants your set list. This is what we could get approved library of songs for Beat Saber. We want to beat our saber to whatever song is.
Yeah, let's beat the saber. Beat the saber to the song you like.
Yeah.
Right? Just like in VRChat. All right. Speaking of VRChat, well, no, let's not talk about that yet. I want to talk about this Eidos Montreal boss, Stephanie D'Austas, however you say her name.
I guess that's Stephanie.
No, that's not Stephanie. It's a French name. It's Stéphane.
Oh, sorry, Stéphane.
Okay, French version of Steven. Stéphane D'Austas.
So like Bill Hader going, you've got to go to New York's hottest club. It's that. Stéphane.
Yeah. Stéphane. That's Stefano? Or is that Stéphane?
Stéphane, I think.
Stéphane.
Yeah, that's exact. Stéphane.
Okay. Yeah. Well, basically, sorry, everybody, for my horrible use there, calls Square Enix sucky, basically. This is pretty
he didn't literally say that, but that's pretty much that's the TLDR.
Didn't this have something to do with this had something to do with these games we like, the Human Revolution and Human...
It did, because one thing we have pointed out is that it feels like every time a game comes out, seems to do very well, you have Square Enix sitting there going, well, it underperformed. It didn't meet expectations. It happened with Tomb Raider, happened with Guardians of the Galaxy, happened with Deus Ex. And basically, what Stefan says is basically that the impression that they got was that Square Enix wants to be bought by Sony.
Yeah.
And so any failures or lack of value that the company is showing, they felt that it was easier to put the blame on their Western divisions. And we saw a lot of this, sell those off to try and make the overall value of Square Enix seem higher, because like, this is what you'd really be interested in. You don't need all this extra stuff.
Yeah.
So it's kind of multiple things they're talking about. They're talking about their own personal experience. They're talking about how these Western games tend to get thrown under the bus, despite selling very, very well, and the potential buyout by Sony that has kind of been a rumor for a long time. But none of it paints Square Enix in a particularly good light.
Yeah.
Well, the best comment, which is that first one, I don't know if you want to read that, Scott, but basically...
Here, I'll read it. He recalls a meeting regarding the company's financial performance in 2012, where Eidos Group of Studios was expected to generate $65 million in profit. Instead, he was told the developers had lost $65 million that year. Quote, "We were dumbfounded, especially because my studio didn't have any deliverables for that year." Meaning,
so they didn't release any games, but they were expected to make $65 million.
Yeah, they made it up. That's so lame.
How?
That's so lame. I hate that.
So they've been like, it's sad to hear, because I love Deus Ex, and this is why, if you want to know why your favorite Eidos, your company is not working on your favorite things, is because the company that owns it is like basically undermining it completely, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
Because then there's always a conversation after that. Oh, you didn't make profit. There must be something wrong. We have to interfere. And it's, it just sounds like a hostile relationship.
Yeah, it seems bad. He also goes on. This is interesting. Says, if I read between the lines, and I really like, by the way he describes everything. It's all pretty. It's not
pretty professional.
It's not full of hyperbole or anything. He's just kind of saying it the way it is. But he says, if I read between the lines, Square Enix Japan was not as committed as we had hoped initially, and there are rumors, obviously, that with all these activities of mergers and acquisitions, that Sony would really like to have Square Enix within their wheelhouse. I heard rumors that Sony said they were really interested in Square Enix Tokyo, but not the rest. So I think Square Enix CEO Yuzuki put it like a garage sale. I think he means basically, selling off those other studios was like his way of saying, oh, now look at us. We're slimmer. We're ready. Let's go.
Yeah. Make it more enticing, make as much money as possible, and hope for the best price from Sony.
Yeah.
Which I mean, we've predicted that on our show even before we heard the rumors. I was saying that I had a feeling that that's the way it was going. I don't know if they're actually moving forward with it, but I think all signs point in that direction. I've seen enough evidence to know that there are at least people having talks and saying like, "Hey, we should get together." Sony and Square Enix, we look good together.
Sure. And I agree. They kind of do. I actually think that it does make them more attractive to Sony. I just don't think that's a great way to treat the people who help your company be what it is. You know? Like that's my only problem here. Like I understand why the value proposition is what it is. I just think it's shitty, And I'll be I'll be annoyed if Sony buys them in that one regard. I think it's a real get for Sony, and certainly the strength lies in the Japanese titles and in Tokyo in general. But have they ever talked about how much the Chaos game made? Gotta Kill Chaos or whatever the hell it's called. What's it called?
Oh, the Stranger in Paradise.
This guy.
I'm here to kill chaos.
Yeah, Stranger in Paradise. Did that meet their expectations? Because it felt like
no, because the only ones they ever talk about are the Western ones, whereas that underperformed. Yeah. I don't know how that one did. They're giving it an expansion pack though, some sort of DLC business, so it's getting that treatment.
Yeah.
According to so here's an article on thegamer.com, published March 25th, 2022. Stranger of Paradise is the 4th worst selling Final Fantasy spinoff in Japan's history.
Yeah, you don't hear them writing up a ton of articles about that, about their really underperformed this.
And they're gonna say, oh, the developers sucked at making the game, but you know what? It's their own dumb policy of not letting people stream it and not getting people hyped for it.
Yeah.
And even looking at the memes that everyone was celebrating and being like, oh, that's an embarrassment. Sorry, guys. And I don't know, Anyway, I like how Stefan describes the superhero bit tells me what that executive board, how they think about games.
Yeah. It's interesting.
Yeah, read that one.
He says maybe at the time the deal was signed, the superhero thing was a big thing. It still is, but there is some fatigue with superheroes. I agree. And especially in games, very few manage to be successful with superheroes. There's always Batman from the guys at Rocksteady. There was Spider-Man. But out of the people that have done it, the success rate of superhero games is not good. Maybe it was the easy way out. They might have thought that selling a superhero game is easier than a conventional game. That is interesting.
So, yeah. Oh, we're not making good money? Why don't you go make some superhero games? And then we get Avengers and we got Guardians, which I think Guardians was better than it was ever intended to be.
Guardians was good. I liked it.
I think they expected Avengers to be bad. I think they expected Guardians to be bad. Avengers is actually not that terrible in a way. A lot of hard people worked on it. It didn't hit the way it wanted to. But Guardians won an award for best writing. It was, it was a solid entry for that year. It will be in the Jeff Keighley's Hall of Fame in history as a remarkable, notable game for that year. And we said, that seemed really good. And it's still publicly Square Enix called it a disappointment. So they were just expecting them to fail. These people are not interested in games. These people are interested in stocks and business and stuff. And it's just sad, man. That we have all of the. I know they're probably, for being mature, this was always a factor in all business and all games, but it's really. It's just really depressing how much they want us to buy and promote and spend our time standing their games and spending time talking about it on social media and all that, and then not actually give a shit about their product.
It's kind of a bummer. I guess I would ask though, and I don't know if anyone's talked about this, but with Eidos and the Montreal studios and I forgot who makes the Tomb Raiders now, Crystal Dynamics.
Crystal Dynamics,
yeah, all those guys. Who got all that? Did Embracer Group buy it all? I don't know who bought all that. But whoever it is.
I thought it was Embracer Group or something like that.
Maybe this breathes new life into those franchises, including Deus Ex. Maybe there's a chance to say, all right, well, we're out from under the thumb of that weirdness. Now we can just make the games we want to make, and maybe they have to scale back. Maybe they can't do as many. I don't know, but maybe there's opportunity there. I don't know. I tend to be more positive on that than I maybe should be, but
I mean, it might go around. It's when we talked about Heroes a couple weeks ago and Heroes kind of ending, I think the thing that resonated with me the most was saying for another video game company, a company that wasn't Blizzard, the numbers and attention and kind of gameplay experience that Heroes was seeing would have been a smash hit for another company.
Yeah.
And I think to me, that's a testament to, yeah, there's other studios out there and they'll probably put in the work and make something really cool out of it. Square Enix has to figure it out. They have to start realizing that there isn't we'll just make this game and it will make money, that they have to put quality behind it. It's a decision they've clearly made in the past. I mean, we've talked about the journey that Final Fantasy XIV went on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, a greedy company does not say, yeah, guys, go ahead. Let everybody play for free for a while you remake the game from scratch.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that is not the same company that's like, buy our Squall NFT, even if it is a decision of roughly the same guy, because I think it literally is, to some degree. But they need to figure out that, this hurts their brand, and that is important in this day and age.
Yeah.
Ask Blizzard how important it is. It doesn't count for everything. People are very easily won over if a game looks good, but a game also has to look good. And you're probably not putting out your best effort if you're just like, I don't know, put superheroes in it and I'm sure it will sell.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. There was a chance. I think Avengers had the potential to be an amazing game.
It did. I genuinely enjoyed the single player campaign of Avengers.
Yeah.
I thought I had a good time with it. I put in a lot of time in that game. And I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah. Just could have had a better long tail, I guess.
I think the problem was that they went in with an eye for the long tail.
Yeah.
Like, they held too much back. It was a game where you could tell that they were going, man, a couple years when we're really big, we're going to be doing something crazy. And it's like, well, yeah, but you have to earn the ability to do those crazy things.
They were trying to make Daddy Square Enix happy.
Yeah.
Daddy Square Enix was probably like, you need to make this game huge. It's the Avengers, big IP. This is going to be the new Destiny. You're going to make money every year. And you're going to be just as good as Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah. And they did.
And it's like, it was a great game. Like, there was obvious, I think maybe there's some dissonance with the appearance of the characters, that it got some bad press, maybe even unfair. And
some of it,
that hurt it for sure.
Yeah.
But you're right, John. I don't think they really said it or marketed it. They didn't do it quite right, I think, for a long-term game.
Yeah, I agree.
And
it's a bummer. Well, now let's move over to something where things get weird. VRChat. They added,
everyone's worried. It's like, the show has been weird.
It has been weird. VRChat adds Epic's easy anti-cheat to combat hackers, but it also did a thing to the mod community, which we're going to talk about now. They basically disabled mods across the board. I don't know if were all mods affected, everything.
So it's important to distinguish a few things. In VRChat, you can create your own worlds using Unity engine and avatars.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not what I think a lot of people will understand. That's not what mods do. That's not modding, but that part of the creativity is still in the game.
Right.
Mods are like in World of Warcraft. They're add-ons. They change the game files and behavior and
right.
And then allow you to do things. So that's
right.
So it's the EAC was to combat hackers, but it cancels all mods basically.
Yeah, mods are out. It's officially and has been for a long time against the terms of service, but they never really enforced that. It was just sort of you wrote here, don't ask, don't tell. I think that fits pretty well. They're just like,
right.
yeah.
I didn't even realize, because I'm a new VRChat user. When I log in, it says don't use mods, will ban your account. So I use 0 mods. No idea what anyone's talking about.
Yeah. I
was shocked because I didn't even find out this news on news sites. I'm in the VRChat Discord, and it's like new message. And it was like, oh my God, VRChat Discord has been popping off like 100 messages a minute all week. It's like, it's fascinating to watch. It just goes on and on. The same conversation. It's fine. VRChat needs to put EAC. You're a shill for the company. It broke my mod, and blah, and it's been a week-long rage fest. in the Discord.
And they're review bombing as well, right? That's happening kind of across the board.
But this is like, I think, way more unexpected. This seems like on another level, because I think the people who are into VRChat, it's very personal connection to that game based on it's social. It's like, it's different than, oh, my paladin doesn't do enough damage, you nerf ret paladins, I hate you, World of Warcraft, right?
That's a
Like,
good comparison for that. Yeah.
But these people are like, this is like their second life, basically. Like, this is based on like my research into the Reddit and what people do. They like, a lot of people, this is their game because they create in it. They have social circles in it. It's their virtual world. They take it very personally, and they're review bombing the hell out of it, canceling their subs, and the Discord is going nuts.
Yeah. What can you sub to in there? I didn't realize it had subs.
There's a sub, so it's basically just it's free to play, but you can sub for extra favorites in your avatars, extra favorited worlds. You get some other options. It's just quality of life stuff. You get most of the features for free, but I paid a sub. I was like, this game's great. It's only $10. Let me get it. I want to favorite more avatars. I rented a room and I needed more Transformers and cat boys in my in my favorites. I was like, whatever, I'll give them $10. I'll use this enough.
Sure.
Yeah, so there are some serious concerns with some of the mods. Mods can gain your private data. Mods can crash worlds and servers. And from my research, the devs of VRChat have been holding on to EAC for a long time and have held off, but they had to pull the trigger on it, according to them.
Did that thing that happened to you you didn't see it, but you had a video of it. The guy, the world got wrecked by a Warhammer 40K capital ship that came in, and is that a mod? Is that like a?
That wasn't a mod. That was an avatar animation because that was safe to use. The reason why that got banned was because it was so disruptive.
Okay,
like it was just obnoxious, but it wasn't a mod. It was because avatars can do all kinds of anything you can make in Blender. You can make. So if you wanted to make your animation 5 miles long and kill the visual space for everyone, it's technically possible.
Okay.
But they will ban those.
Interesting. All right.
Yeah. So the big thing. So why this is a big thing though? Because I know we talked about ERP and it's funny, haha. But actually, on a more serious note, a lot of differently abled people have flocked to VRChat.
Yeah.
In particular, there are mods for sign language. There are mods for closed captioning. There are mods for text to speech. There's mods for color blindness. There are mods for people who have to lie down and can't get up and still want to socialize and feel what it's like to be running. It's like the Matrix, right? Like I have legs in VR. Like that's real. Like that's happening for people, that they're in these worlds and sort of experiencing a fantasy of something that they might really mean something to them, or they're just finding other people like them, even not with these improvements, even with avatar searching, performance improvements, safety controls, a little mirror so you can see your own face when you're socializing. You can socialize better because there's not really a game to it. There's no ret paladin balance, but the people who do there want to have proper facial expressions when they're socializing with people, and it's hard to see. You can't see your own face, so you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
So their arguments are EAC, first of all, is not very effective at stopping the malicious mods anyways.
EAC is the company, the
Easy Anti-Cheat.
Oh, Easy Anti-Cheat from Epic. Got it. Yeah.
It's not very effective. It's also like not a game, like a competitive game. So there's, there's assets in here, but we don't need to shut down all the mods. And their argument is that the developers are slow to prioritize things that mean something to the community. So, they'll say they're going to add things. You know what I mean? You get to this point when you're developing a game where the community can ideate and come up with ideas and the things they need for the virtual world faster than your development team can.
Yeah.
And I feel like overall, this isn't just VRChat, but overall, online games need to embrace this more, because you are asking people to spend time in the virtual world. Those people should get a say in how that world is crafted and what's priority for them. I think WoW has been actually pretty good out of any other online world to integrate mods and stuff like that. I think it would be helpful if they gave them some more support, but like that's probably the Blizzard is the best example historically of this stuff.
I think Minecraft probably deserves some credit as well. They've always made that
perhaps I don't know much about Minecraft, but that's true.
Yeah.
Blizzard's the old Blizzard comes to mind. I don't know if that's still true nowadays, but mods are still allowed. So I don't. You've seen it lessen over the years, but this is definitely something that. Part of it too was that there was no communication up front. Like they literally came out and say EAC in 2 days. Part of it is also not softening that blow. It just cutting off their game completely within a short time frame. So the lack of notice has also caused a reciprocal vitriolic response.
So people, the company that runs or owns or created VRChat, who are they? Are they just like 3 dudes in a basement?
That's something I don't know. That's one thing I realized in reading all this is like, who makes this? Like, I have no idea who's behind it. It might be aliens for all I know. It's called VRChat Incorporated.
Really?
Okay. Yep. So, I don't think they're. Hang on. Online virtual world platform created by Graham Gaylor and Jesse Judry and operated by VRChat.
So that's it. A couple dudes.
Looking for where they're located.
A couple dudes made a thing. Maybe it's still a couple of dudes and then some backenders and who knows what else.
Yeah, it sounds like a small amount of people.
Yeah, that might be part of the problem. I'm
sure it's not 2 people now, but
it's probably grown. I'm sure because the thing has kind of exploded on them. But I don't know. Like I don't know what to expect out of somebody that size or. With that, with no other stuff behind their belt, maybe they don't.
All right. So Google Chat, how many employees VRChat? They say 36 employees.
Oh, that's a fair number now.
Zappia.com.
Pretty small compared to other stuff, but yeah.
Yeah, for sure. It's we're definitely not talking large. I don't know if they're owned by another entity. I'm guessing no, based on what I'm researching. So yeah, small. It's a smaller dev team. And yeah, so we'll see. I mean, this is one of the biggest uproars that we've seen in a good while over a video game space. So we'll see.
Yep.
But that's what's going on there. If you had questions or saw that stuff popping up, a lot of it has to do with either differently abled people or creators who are just, it's not all the grody stuff. There are people just doing cool things in that space. You can make flying avatars. You can do it's everything metaverse should be, or any sort of space like this. It's what the internet should be. It's an open canvas for your creations and to share in a social space. It's truly magical when it works right. So
I want to see it thrive, but on the one hand, there's 2 arguments here. One is, should giant companies like Meta or Apple or anyone else control the virtual spaces? And the answer is no. But also, should 2 dudes in the 30 people they hired, should they also control it? Probably not. I guess what I'm arguing for is like big open standards like the internet itself. Because that's where that stuff thrives, is when your back end doesn't need to be someone kind of owning it. Have it be distributed and have it be available to anybody. So John can go make his own little corner and call it John's Corner and do whatever he wants in that corner.
That's what I would name it.
Right. But
I think the problem is, and we talked about this pre-shows, it runs up into IP and corporate responsibility issues, because 704 made a good comment in the chat. A couple of dudes who want to cash out.
Yeah.
Kind of hard to sell when your business is founded on ripping off people's IPs and the stability of the servers are not good. So yeah, you lose your mods, but the servers are stable enough that they can sell it.
Yeah.
Stuff like that, right? Going on behind the scenes. That's a good point.
Sure.
And then somebody, a large entity, owns it, and they go, okay, all those Transformers avatars you got, those aren't allowed. We haven't paid Hasbro for them.
Yeah.
So they're out, and then the fun slowly starts.
Then you do GoBots, and then GoBots gets mad and they come after you.
Yeah. And then basically, then all you can do is you can just choose from things they create. Then there's a creator program that has 1 million submissions and only 2 make it through. Everything's monetized. No one wants to hang out there. Everyone leaves, and it's a husk of what it was when it was exciting.
Well, there you go.
That's sad.
Yeah.
That's a depressing way to end that.
It is a depressing thing. However, all that being said, I think that they'll probably find some middle ground. It's going to take a bit, and fans may be pissed no matter what, but They'll find some middle ground. It'll be okay. Everyone calm down. Easy for me to say. I don't play this game, or I don't spend that much time in there. Anyway, moving on. Let's do this real quick. Diablo Immortal surpassed $100 million in revenue in 8 weeks. They have launched in China this week also, which will probably ramp up that money real quick, which was kind of their idea in the first place. And that's compared, for example, to Wild Rift, not in the same time frame, but Wild Rift up to this point after being launched by Riot, their MOBA, $500 million in revenue. That's $500 million for those doing the math. All this is a lot of money. They're all doing fine with their, their questionable freaking stuff.
Yeah, well, not that we need to go hard on this particular topic because we've covered it a lot, but all that to say, the bread is buttered. I've had more examples of the bread being buttered in the video game space again than anywhere else.
Yeah.
It's just, it's starting in my mind to settle as like, no, this is where corporate interest is. It's low effort, high yield gains.
Yeah,
you're gonna see a lot more of this mobile gaming thing. And I don't know what I think we're always going to have indie games and enthusiasts, but I think we're just seeing like a regression of wearing the crown in terms of the most popular game. The most revenue earning, the most popular games are not going to be on PC for the most part. There's probably some exceptions.
Yeah.
Unless they're mobile ports of already this model.
Yeah. Thanks, Apple and Google.
Exist.
We can blame Apple and Google, I guess, for the uptick in. I mean, whatever. It's part of me is like,
we're still gonna have games. They're just not. We're gonna be like the enthusiast people.
Yeah. We're moving to vinyl, is what's going on.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Kinda.
And I'm not saying that that's the worst thing. There's lots of energy around vinyl and collecting and blah blah blah. But I don't love the direction.
I mean, if you're the company earning $100 million in revenue in 8 weeks, and there's a bunch of like nerds outside your building going, "You shouldn't do this. Gaming it needs to be this." You're just gonna sit there and go, bah! And throw your money. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, they don't care.
You're gonna listen to those guys, those chumps outside begging for high quality. No.
Yeah, they don't care.
You're gonna do the Triple H thing and tell them this.
What did Triple H do? I'm so bad at
Not
wrestling.
Triple H. Is it D-Generation X, John?
And Triple H was a part of D-Generation X. So yeah you do the crotch chop and you say suck it.
Yeah.
I know precious little about the wrestling lore.
I don't know much, but Crofton's always telling me to do that.
Hey, his name came up. Crofton. Woohoo!
Yeah, I know. He was... The difference between him and Bob Sacramento is I don't think Bob begs Kramer to be mentioned to Jerry all the time.
No, we never hear him beg on Twitter to have his name said on the air. All right, well, that's all well and good. How about a Dear Martha review from our good old pal, Dear Martha and John?
Yeah, Dear Martha writes letters to herself.
Dear Martha writes things to herself. So this is a weird one. You're not doing a... Well, I guess it is a Steam review, sort of.
Well, this is going to be a special one. So I had a listener reach out. We'll call him Original Gamer Bill.
Yeah.
And said, years ago, I was sent a preview copy of the first Silent Hill. I wrote a review of it for the now dead Next Gen Online magazine. I came across a printout I made while purging old boxes and just wanted to see if I was curious about reading it. Not even necessarily reading it on the show. But as a special thank you for listening, and because I think the review is actually, pretty entertaining, we're going to embarrass Original Gamer Bill and do a Dear Martha of the review he wrote for the online edition of Next Gen.
Well, real quick, before I hit this music, I loved that magazine and I loved the online implementation of it. And even though it outlived the magazine but didn't live forever, I read it every day. I freaking love Next Gen. I hate that it went away. All right. Just want to make that clear. All right, here we go. Let's play it. Let's go. Here we go. Whoops, go.
My dearest Martha, I sit here after playing a demo of Silent Hill, slightly chilled, nervous, and anxious. I've been playing games since the beginning, and never has a game made me dread turning the next corner. Sorry for the pause. I had to lock the doors in the house. I remember the first game to ever give me the jitters. Sinistar. The mere sound of him saying, "Run, coward," had me doing just that. The next game was, of course, Doom. Never knowing when a Baron of Hell would be unleashed with the flick of a switch would have me pausing the game more than I would like to admit. Again, I apologize. I heard a noise and checked the house twice. The next game was a little something called Resident Evil 1 and 2. Hearing the mooring wails of undead in the distance chilled me to the bone. Now, Silent Hill, a game straight out of my worst nightmares. I cringe at the thought of turning it on again and facing the darkness once more. But just like a child afraid of the basement, I'm drawn to the unknown. Those small killers invade my waking hours and keep me up until the wee hours. I know I will travel deep into that nightmare when it is released in its full horror, with my eyes wide open and a firm grip upon my controller. I'm sorry, but I must go. There is a fog rolling in, and I hear the shuffling of little feet. It's 3 a.m. Do you know where my blood is? Yours in this life and the next. Original Gamer Bill.
Wow. So I have to agree with that entire take. That game scared the shit out of me, and I had to lock doors and leave lights on and make my wife go and put the dog away, and I couldn't do it. That game, I've said this before, I took the disc out, put it on the carpet, put the controller to the side, turned off the PlayStation, left all the lights on, went to bed, and said, "Kim, take care of everything else. I can't do it tonight."
Wow.
I can't live in this world anymore.
Yeah, that game scared me.
Disc.
Legit scared me, man.
My biggest scares were System Shock 2. I found a safe spot in a warehouse room, and I put the controller down, or the mouse and keyboard, however I was playing at the time.
Yeah.
And I just remember sitting there going, I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do this.
Yeah.
So System Shock 2 got me really good. The biggest jump scare, it was probably the closest I've ever gotten to a Scott scream.
Yeah.
Was from the original Resident Evil 2 in the second scenario campaign, which has Mr. X in it. He famously breaks through a wall, which nothing in that game does anything like that, ever. There's the liquor through the glass at one point, and that's fine. But there's never been a time in that Resident Evil where the static painted background got destroyed by something coming through the wall. And it was like 3 a.m. and that happened, and I just absolutely shrieked and woke my parents up. I was so scared by that. And oddly enough, the other one is Elder Scrolls Morrowind. I was playing some mod where I was going through, it was a user-created level, and they would spawn the, I don't remember what they're called, like the demon-y people. Mm-hmm. And one spawned behind me, and it was just sleep deprivation. I was playing like a kid. Daedra. Yeah, and I turned around, and there was one behind me with a sword raised, and I remember doing this in real life. Wow. Like, I reflexively put my hands up to protect myself from a sword in real life, and then realized how stupid that was. I think those are the 3 biggest scares I've ever had in video gaming.
Do you so you don't think the character creator in Morrowind was enough to scare you bad enough?
Hey, that game looked great back in the day. It looked fine.
Yeah.
The game looked amazing. The character models never looked incredible, but they were okay enough.
Listen to you talking about an Elder Scrolls game in a positive light. I'm blown away by that.
It was a time. It was a time when that art style wasn't quite like, everything looked better back then. It was, then they decided, like, what if we just did boring realism?
What if we made it all look very real? And then
look, that piece of armor on that dude that you just pulled up is more interesting than any piece of armor in all of Skyrim. It doesn't look as good, but as far as looking interesting, it looks better than all of it.
I don't know if that's true. Maybe Skyrim, but in ESO, there's some amazing armor.
Yeah, I didn't want to say ESO because you get into the MMO, they kind of have to war with themselves to continue upping the ante. They can't just go like, it's glass armor, it's green. Like they have to actually like make it interesting going forward. And so, I can see ESO maybe bucking that trend. But yeah, definitely better than anything in Skyrim.
I don't know how many of you seen the GIF of me freaking out way back some years ago, probably 2014 or so. People use it all the time. I don't know why they have it, but anyway,
because it looks like if I posted that and said, "I'm sorry, Scott died playing a video game," people would believe it.
Yeah,
you look like you die in that clip.
It looks like part of my soul leaves my body. That's because Outcast 1 had a moment that just ripped me a new one. It was so bad. Not like I've seen plenty of things that made me go like this with John or otherwise. Like I've had plenty of scary moments, grandma in her wheelchair in the basement and Resident Evil 7, all that kind of stuff. But I'm telling you, there's something early on in that game that just freaking wrecked me. And I had to, I don't think I went past that. I think I finished that stream and never played that first game again. Even though I beat the second one, I guess I desensitized myself enough to be able to do it. But yeah, that thing. Oof. Ugh. Outcast was out to get me.
Outlast.
Why I keep saying Outcast? The band. I keep thinking of the band. No, it's Outlast. 1 and 2, upside down crosses, all that shit. Ugh. Brr, brr. All right. Now this. It's time to talk about the games we played. I had a weird gaming week, and I'll explain. My plan was I was going to get so deep into Final Fantasy Remake, 7 Remake, that's all I was going to do. And for some reason, that and a bunch of other attempts at other games, I could not pay attention to a story. It just wasn't working for me. Like my brain wouldn't take it. And I can't explain it except I've had a lot of stuff going on. I've been, I don't know, kind of stressed. I feel like I just needed dumb stuff to get me through in my gaming week. So here's what I did. I played Need for Speed Hot Pursuit Remake on my Series X and PC. It's one of the greatest racers ever. It's a remake of a PS2 title. But I think that may have been the best Need for Speed ever got. Freaking Hot Pursuit is so damn good.
I love Hot Pursuit.
So
and I think that game, I downloaded the demo for the PC back in the day. And I think it's the most I've ever played a demo of any video game ever. I just played it over and over and over again. That was the first time they introduced the cops chasing you, right?
Correct.
And you could play as the cop and you could get people or you could run from them. Yeah, and so the demo was basically that. It was like one map, it was one racetrack, and you could basically do the police mode in it. And I couldn't afford the game. Actually, I don't think it was even out yet. And I probably just played that one track over and over for days.
Did they just give you the one track? That's all the demo gave you?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I think you could do the police and I think you could do like a racer. I think you could do both on the track.
Interesting.
I got it. I think I got the demo with a new video card too. So it was also like the test your new video card demo for me. I was like, oh, it looks so good. So it was a mixture of visuals and just like finding that incredibly fun. I love Hot Pursuit.
Well, good news. The remake, part of the reason I picked it up again, because the remake was remade top to bottom by Criterion. In fact, I think it was their first or second project.
The guys who do the movies?
No, the ones that do Burnout Paradise, the Burnout games. So they got bought.
Okay,
they got bought by
the Criterion Collection.
Yeah, no, not like this is the best version of the Godfather. Not like that. So these guys, they came in after Paradise, which was such a huge hit, and applied kind of their touch and style to this thing, keeping it very true to the thing it's being remade. But it's gorgeous. The game looks so good in its current form. And I played it on Series X and PC, like I mentioned, as often as I could during the last week. I really enjoyed it. So that game's awesome. It has still some of the best drift racing in any arcade-based sort of non-sim car racing game. And in particular, the 380ZX cop car is just a freaking glorious beast. Plus, it's got constantly refueling nitrous, so you've always got boosts going. Very pretty, runs at 4K on the console. What's the other thing I was going to say about it? I forgot. Oh, the online stuff is still like hopping. Like I wait no time to get into games, and the games are a riot. It's like 4 of you are racing, 4 of you are cops. You're trying to win the race and evade the cops. The cops are trying to stop anyone from winning. And you have things like EMPs, and you can drop spike strips and all sorts of crazy shit. Kind of turns it into a competitive, almost kind of like Wipeout, except with real cars. And I just don't think Need for Speed was ever better. I just freaking love it so much.
It was so good. You know what? All this talk about racing games, and because it's not a type of game that I usually associate with liking, because I don't play a lot of them. Mm-hmm. But for whatever reason, it popped in my head. You talking about this in old racing games. I wish they would remake San Francisco Rush.
Oh yeah.
That game was so fun.
It's real good. California, it was a part of the Rush series, right? So there's California Rush, there was San Francisco Rush, I don't remember.
Rush, and then they did one in the future.
Yeah, like Rush 2049 or something. Something like
2020.
That. Yeah.
It's just, the future is now.
It was okay, though. I remember that being all right. Yeah, those were great. I think the N64 had at least 2 of those.
Yeah, that's probably where I played it, honestly.
Yeah, those were great.
On the N64.
One of my favorite racing games.
It was that first, like, that first baby step into open world racing. Mm-hmm. Because I remember you could go, they'd give you kind of the track, but the whole city was sort of open to you. And I remember you could just go, well, I'm not going to follow the race. I'm going to just go drive around San Francisco and have fun.
Yeah.
And you could totally do that. It almost felt like a precursor to Burnout Paradise.
Yeah, I agree. Speaking of that, so Criterion did this, and then their next project was Most Wanted, which is annoyingly not on Series X, but is available on PC. So you got to jump through all that freaking EA stupid launcher shit. I hate it. They get in their way so hard. I hate it. But anyway, that's also a very cool game and basically kind of spiritual Paradise 2.0 in a lot of ways. It has the cop stuff, and it's very, very good. But what's got me excited, and I don't usually get excited about EA games coming up, but the next Need for Speed they're working on is all Criterion, and I don't know what that means or what we're going to get, but I'm actually super jazzed about it. So anyway, because they got a lot of mediocre, middling stuff in between all of these, but anything Criterion does is gold. And they
just need to let them make Burnout games.
Yeah,
again.
make Burnout.
I know they don't. I know they think there's more value in putting their Need for Speed on there, and maybe that's true, but man, I miss Burnout.
You know what would be cool, John? What if they did this? What if they called it Need for Speed, Burnout, and it's set in Paradise City, and but they're real branded cars this time, but it's Paradise City 2.
No, because the problem is as soon as you get the real branded cars, you can't crash them. Like, that's why Burnout never used real branded cars, and that's why Need for Speed games always suck on the crashing by comparison, is because Porsche wants you to believe that if you slam their car into the wall, its paint gets scratched.
Yeah.
And that's all that happens.
You're not wrong. Like, even in Most Wanted, which does have the crashes, and you'll do flip over, head over heel flips in your cars, you'll smash into other cars, you'll cause all kinds of problems, but the cars are weirdly resilient.
Yeah.
And whereas in Burnout, you would just destroy your effing car. So I'd be whatever gets them to the most Burnout Paradise-y life. I would like to go there. I love that game. So anyway, it was a really good time. I also continue to play more Outriders Series X again. I think that game's great because the gameplay is so good. The story we've talked about, John has rightly said, story character stuff is just like, it's a guy with a gun and he's going to stop the bad things from there's nothing special about that for sure. I don't disagree with it. But I think the moment-to-moment gameplay, the abilities which you can swap in and out and unlock new ones and all that stuff, and I think the kind of almost like Path of Exile style progression map thing, I think they're all real good. And playing that game moment to moment is a joy, and I love it. And I just love wrecking these guys. Oh my gosh, it's so much fun. So I've been playing Outriders, totally solo. Everybody's like, some guy on Twitter's like, I love that game, but I don't have any friends. You don't need them. Just play it. Just go play it. All it does is scale.
You don't need friends.
You don't need
It is nice to play co-op, though.
Oh, of course. Of course. I mean, if you got friends, play it that way. But if you don't, it just scales anyway. It's like Diablo. Just Play it by yourself. You'll enjoy it. I love vegging out to that game. I'm gonna keep doing that. But again, it's part of this thing this week where I just couldn't get into a story. I couldn't get into complex mechanics. I just wanted to get in and go and just wreck stuff, blow stuff up, race things.
Yeah, I've been there. Sometimes it's like you start a game and it's like there's an hour of cinematics and tutorials, and you're just like, come on.
And sometimes, Bo, I'm in the mood for that. Like sometimes I want that so bad. This was not that week.
Because like you could get that out of Diablo 3, but you've done it a lot.
Yeah.
It's like, so when you pick up a new game, you're just like, can I just go? Can I just get the shit? Let's go. And Outriders has a pretty short opener. And,
you get right in, and you can skip all that stuff if you want. You can get right to it, and it's just simple. It's like, here's the marker on the map where you need to go. The fun part is killing the dudes because the cover system's really good. The AI reacts to stuff you're doing. I love doing all the different guns are great. I mean, it's just fun. I think Outriders is rad. So,
it's not on your list, Scott, but I want to ask about it because I was curious about this game, and I thought I saw you say that you were playing it. Did you play Bear and Breakfast?
Oh no, I bought it though. It's Bear and Breakfast, so it's an ampersand.
I thought it was Baron, as in like a Baron Lander.
My breakfast doesn't have anything on it. It's
like,
Baron.
I am the Baron Breakfast, and these are my lands of eggs and bacon.
So I picked it up today. I didn't play it yet, but it's right up my alley. It's basically you're a woodland bear who opens a bread and breakfast, and I've heard it's like Animal Crossing, a little bit of Stardew Valley, a little bit of managing your hotel kind of stuff. I just haven't launched it, but yes, absolutely.
I want to play it. So if you play it for next week, I want to know if I haven't already caved and bought it. Like, I'm so excited about this, and I don't know why.
I don't know either.
I just saw it and I was like, look at that bear. He's running a business. I need this in my life.
Yeah.
I feel like this is how people feel about that game Stray, which I also would like to play at some point, even though I don't particularly love cats all that much.
Yeah.
But apparently I like bears.
Well, Carter's raving. My daughter's playing that game, and she's raving about it. She loves that cat game. I have it because it's on PlayStation Plus, so PlayStation players just get it if you have Plus. So I don't know why I haven't gone and installed that yet. I feel like I feel like that game was going to present me with so much like stuff to think about, and this week just wasn't the week to think. But I'll probably get into it. But yes, the bear thing I'm totally into. The reviews are really good so far. It looks like a riot. I want to play it. So yes, I own it. I'm getting it. I'm playing it. Bear and Breakfast. I'll tell you next week.
Nice.
And I played a bunch of retro games on the Steam Deck and did a lot of that. Just that's always a good way to scratch the itch I'm talking about is play old games because those were all about mechanics and very little about story. So I've been doing a little bit of that. I was able to get I own the cart, so this is technically legal for me. I got oh shoot, what's the? I put a screenshot of it today. I can't think of the name all of a sudden. What's wrong with me? Hold on, it's right here.
What platform?
It's a 3DS game.
A 3DS game.
King of Fighters.
Here, John, you'll recognize
Kirby.
that screen. It's
too small. Oh, a Fire Emblem.
Fire Emblem Awakening.
Oh, I love that one.
I do too. It's a great game. I played it on the 3DS and loved it.
That's one of my favorite games ever made.
It's also one of the. I mean, I think it's like hands down the best of the Fire Emblem games.
Yes.
Even though I haven't played them all, but I decided to see if I could get this 3DS emulation working, and it totally works. It's awesome. So I've been playing that again for the cart I own and have over there. Okay.
You probably do. That one I believe. Usually when people say that, I just give them the knowing that I gave you, but I do believe
I absolutely do have.
I probably owned that game several times. Honestly, I feel like I should be allowed to pirate that game because I did not know Nintendo's policies on how I assumed everything worked in a logical way, which I admit was my first error with Nintendo to assume that things worked the way they should.
Yeah.
And I bought a new 3DS at one point because they got me with some new feature or something. And I was like, oh, I got to get that. I bought a new 3DS and I, like an idiot, got rid of my old 3DS to help pay for my new 3DS, assuming that my profile surely carries all the purchases I've made over to the new one. And it doesn't.
Nope.
So I think I've bought that game twice.
Still doesn't, by the way, on a Switch. Still a problem. Still a pain in the ass.
It is so stupid.
It's so dumb. I know.
I don't know why Nintendo has not heard of the internet.
What is this internet you speak of? Yeah,
but
so
they should figure this shit out. It's a profile. You attach things to it. Let me tell you about NFTs, Nintendo.
Yeah.
Like, let's really show true ownership of products. I finally found a goddamn use for NFTs. Teach Nintendo about it so they know what video games I own when I purchase one.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
And we can call it NFTs will stand for Nintendo. Finally, what's the T?
Tech savvy. All one word.
Tech savvy. Nintendo finally tech savvy.
Tech savvy.
It's good. I like it. Anyway, I played a ton of that, had a blast. I also did a little research. I don't know, ask me why I did this, but I was trying to find out why the Electronic Arts cartridges for the Genesis back in the day looked so weird.
Yeah, they had that little yellow tab on it.
They were tall, had the yellow tab, slightly just different shape, still plugged in, obviously. And every other Genesis cartridge from all other third parties and first parties all looked like Sonic 2 and 3. You know, just the normal, shorter, more streamlined front, didn't have the stupid thing on the side. And I'd always assumed, they're using some fancy chips in there. They got more memory space or whatever. No, it's none of that. It's because EA was trying to force Sega wanted to have the exact same licensing deal that Nintendo had with everybody. Sega was trying to duplicate that. And so even though EA was under those restrictions with Nintendo, they said this goes deeper than this. I'm not going to explain it very well, but basically they wanted to have a better deal, meaning lower royalty rates with Sega. And if they didn't let them do it, they were going to just pull out. And they said, and Sega actually said, well, I guess you're just going to have to reverse engineer the console yourselves then, because we're not letting you have, whatever. We're not letting you have the cartridges. We're not letting you do it. Not manufacturing them. So they did that. They went and reverse engineered the Genesis cartridges, figured it out, and said, we're going to make our own, and we're going to sell them on this device, or you're not going to get these really hot EA games. And Sega relented in their case and said, fine, for you guys, we'll do it, because EA was a big power then. Still is, I guess, in some ways. And they capitulated, and then so they got to do whatever they wanted with the design of that thing. That little yellow thing did nothing. The height did nothing. They
pretended like it did.
Yeah, they liked to pretend it was. It was hilarious to me. And it just reminded me, I guess EA has always done this. They always trip over themselves to just get in the way of the players and annoy people and just be dicks. Like, they're just dicks. They're the industry's dicks.
Well, they do win worst company at a reasonable rate. Maybe not anymore, but for a while they were the real GOAT when it came to worst company in America competition that happened every time.
Yeah, I don't know where they're at these days, but, hopefully Dead Space Remake.
Just you wait. They're working on it.
They're working on it. They'll get there. Anyway,
next week we can figure out why all religious games on the NES were baby blue.
Yeah, let's find that out. Wait, there was another one though. There was one called. It was like a triple cartridge thing. I think I have.
They were
here.
blue cartridges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
NES baby blue cartridge.
Listen to this. This might be it, John. The commercial for it.
Bible Adventures features 3 games in 1 cartridge.
I don't know if that was the one or not.
It was probably, it actually probably was Bible Adventures.
And
Bible Adventures.
Because I definitely had a friend that was very religious, and I went over and I remember thinking like, oh man, this game's blue. This is great. This is amazing. I've never seen a baby blue NES game before. And all of a sudden I'm running around as David with a slingshot, like jumping around Noah's Ark for some reason. And I'm like, what the hell is this?
There's like Bible Adventures.
Yeah, that's the one I just played the clip for. Yeah. Isn't that funny?
By the way, you guys remember these things? I just saw this as well. I haven't thought about them in so long.
Put it in the Discord. Let's see.
Oh, the cases for your
cases
NES
for
games.
NES games to keep them safe. Like, you value your NES games, better put them in a plastic
otherwise
case.
you're gonna have to blow in them.
Yeah, nobody wants to blow in them. Yeah, I do remember that. It's also the other part of this research into these Sega cartridges was finding out just how small or how much of those cartridges are just dead air in there. because it's just this little circuit board, like
It's
this
just
big.
a wafer, right? Like,
Yeah, with a great big freaking thing. So we all thought, ooh, big cartridge. Let's spend $49. That makes sense to me. No, they were just is filler.
I think the best use though of that product is the Legend of Zelda ones that they made gold. Like somewhere in there, their genius was like, this game needs to be gold colored because it's special.
That's right. I mean,
like
it's not.
I wish that a game did that. Like that. Why? I know we all download them now, but damn, like. There's something to that marketing and
pulling up the Elder Scrolls.
I don't know. When he said gold cartridge, it made me think of the Elder Scrolls guy again, so I stuck it up there.
I actually, so I was looking up the Dear Marthas today, and I found this ad.
Yeah.
And it's the Zelda 64 gold cartridge, which I had. Yeah. And the ad for it is, ye snooze, ye lose. Don't blow thy only chance for a limited edition gold cartridge.
Wow.
Get thee to a participating retailer starting October 24th, 1998. Reserve thyself a copy whilst supplies last. 3. Rejoice and be glad. Zelda, have ye what it takes.
Why the games never talk like that? Even the text. That's stupid.
It's got swords.
That's stupid.
I did have a gold cartridge. I also had a gold controller.
Oh, the best part about Google image searching gold cartridge is that it's half Zelda cartridges and half the marijuana vape cartridges called gold.
Oh my
Googling
gosh.
it, it's like half Zelda and it's half pot.
I'm pretty sure this was a part of a tradition though, because I think like Legend of Zelda.
Oh, look what I found! A gold. They
the original NES. Well, definitely the Adventures of Link had a gold version.
Yeah, I think so
for sure.
Yeah, I think
there's a GoldenEye that's gold.
Oh yeah, that did exist
as
well.
They put a sticker for GoldenEye on the Legend of Zelda cartridge.
Kind of.
Oh, you think this is a hack? This is
that is a hack.
Oh, is it? I thought they did this. I thought I remembered this. They didn't?
No. I don't think so.
That's a weird false memory.
I mean, it is called GoldenEye. Like, it seems...
Let's see. GoldenEye.
No, somebody put that sticker on Zelda.
You're probably right, but I want to believe.
I want to believe as well. Because I swear I remember this. GoldenEye gold cartridge. I guess not.
No, I don't think so.
You get it from a modder, maybe. But,
somebody says.
I mean, John is a game sales expert. He's worked in the industry.
As a former retail employee, let me tell you.
I know you didn't want to do it, but let me do it for you. If you do it for yourself, it's cringe. But if I, say like, John was a video game retailer and confectioner.
He knows. Wait, what years were you there, John? What era?
He was a game sommelier.
Oh, that I worked at GameStop? Yeah. Holy shit! You're asking me to remember stuff. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to remember.
I mean, like
generally, it would have been like 2003-ish.
Okay, so on PC it's like Dungeon Siege 1 and 2 era. It's Diablo 2. For consoles, you're looking at what, early PlayStation 2, GameCube era. Does that sound right?
Yeah, something like that.
Or maybe late previous gen. I don't know.
I'm trying to remember when the hell I worked there.
It really blurred that out.
I need a calculator to figure this out. Holy shit.
That's funny. A calculator to figure out how old you were or what?
I probably, because I know, yeah, it would have actually been around the year 2000. 2000 around there.
Okay, probably. So you were about to turn over,
and I worked there for years. Like, so it probably was 2000 to 2003, somewhere in there.
Nice. Well, I don't know why I asked. Anyway, moving on.
Know what kind of games I sold. See what I was up to while I was in there. Was I part of the selling the Zelda golden cartridges? No.
Yeah. And if I walked in, would you go, "Hello, sir, are you interested in a magazine, Game Informer subscription?" And
I was not really.
Are you interested in CD protection?
Add-on sales, unless I felt like it. Sometimes I did it just to be competitive. That I was into, but I wasn't into upselling people.
Right.
I mostly just lied to people about how our shrink wrap machine worked, because Have you ever, if
That's a
either of you
weird
have
thing
worked
to
in
lie about.
retail, there's a really annoying thing that people like to do. They like to test to see how good their like minimum wage workers are at math, and they'll hand them money for a product, and they'll see them type in the amount and see how much change to give them, and then they'll go, oh wait, and they'll give them additional money so that now the person at the cash register has to do the math in their head instead of the computer.
It's because they want a $10 bill back, isn't it? Like that'll be $5.99, and they're like, "Oh, I have 90 cents."
Sometimes it's just to test them and see. And I used to lie to people because I didn't want to do the math, and I'd say, "I'm sorry, they track us down to the penny. If I put in this is what you gave me, I have to show that that's what went in there."
You really did that?
Oh yeah, 100%.
That's wild. I never did anything like that.
I'd
be like, yeah, okay, I'll take your money.
Yeah.
But, whatever.
Yeah, and the amount of bullshit I would just tell people, like when I worked in a different industry, this one I don't know how much trouble I could get into, but like I would hear so many complaints from people about like the way insurance practices and stuff and all that worked. And my go-to excuse, this worked universally. If somebody was complaining about something, you go, yeah, man, the government. Worked 100% of the time. I never once said that and had someone go, what are you talking about? Every time someone was like, I don't know why my medications that I prescribed, I guess I'm telling you, I was talking to doctors on the phone.
Yeah.
It needs a prior authorization. This is ridiculous. If I prescribe something for a patient, you should just approve it. And I go, I know, man, but the government. And they would just go, yeah, man, I know.
Yeah, man.
The government's always coming in and telling us what to do.
That's like your version of the IT crowd, and they're like, how to talk to real men about football. And they're like, what a play last night? What's wrong with that player?
Yeah.
Damn right. Like you just say the same 3 lines over and over again, and you can carry on a conversation for 5 hours.
Well, you're not as bad as some, John. I walked into a GameStop, or I guess it would have been a Software Etc. at the time, and I witnessed one of the employees trying to convince some lady that Nintendo was buying Sega. And all I could do is sit there and go.
People that would work there like that.
Like,
everybody that works in a GameStop or Software Etc. thinks they're an expert on the industry.
Yeah, and I just was like, I felt like saying, "Lady, don't listen to this guy. They're not buying. Neither of them buying each other at all. This is stupidest thing. It's like Coke buying Pepsi. What are you doing? What are we doing?" And he was so convinced of it.
The worst thing that ever happened to me working at a GameStop, and our mutual friend Ben did this to me. So, just to give you a face to the person that committed this crime.
Sure.
I was in there on my day off buying a game. And for those of you who don't know, I don't know if they still do this, but back in the day, one of the perks of working at a GameStop was you were allowed to check out games, which meant the employees at the store were taking those games home a lot of times and playing them and then bringing them back and re-shrink wrapping them and selling them as new. Just FYI. And so this was a thing that happened a lot. And the idea was that it was to, make the people working there knowledgeable about the games. They've played them. They're not just going to go, I don't know, because they certainly weren't paying us well enough to purchase any of these things ourselves.
Of course not.
So I had played Star Trek Bridge Commander was a game I had checked out and played. And this guy came into GameStop, and he was the biggest Star Trek nerd I have ever seen. Any stereotype you can ascribe Star Trek nerd or Trekkie, but I think this goes beyond that. It applied to him. Like he, not that day, but had shown up wearing a Star Trek uniform just for his mall shopping experience before. And he's talking to Ben, who's working, and he goes, I'm really interested in that Bridge Commander game, but I got a lot of questions about how it works. And Ben says, well, I've never played it, but he has, and pointed to me. And on my day off, I spent 2.5 hours talking to a guy about all the minutia of Bridge Commander because he had 100 billion questions about it. It was the worst. Is the worst experience of my life. I still to this day hold a grudge.
You're never going to get that 2 hours back either. That's
no,
done.
it's gone.
Why did you talk that long? Why don't you just say I've had enough?
I wasn't as rude as I am now. This is how I was trained. Anybody that's like, man, John's short with people sometimes, not literally, but also in attitude. It's because of moments like this where it was just like, I felt like even though I wasn't working as an employee of the store, I felt some ownership that I had to treat the customer right and answer all of his questions. I couldn't have tried to be more clear that I was uninterested, though.
You sure it's over, though? You sure it's over? Aren't you part of a podcast that habitually runs over time, last 2 to 3 hours?
That is true. I do talk a lot.
But you enjoy this. You would do it for anyone.
You guys aren't asking me all the nuances of Bridge Commander.
Right.
No, but I absolutely love that a game that 0 people give a shit about today was 2 hours of your life trying to explain it. I love it. That's amazing. Yeah. Also, this is good to have confirmation what I always believed, which was you guys took those games home and played them and then rewrapped them. I knew it.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like
really?
You're supposed to do it with the.
That's illegal.
So you're supposed to do it with the copy. So the way they front their product out there is they take one copy of what they get.
Yeah.
They open it. They remove the disc so that if somebody decides to, steal the game off the shelf, they get an empty case.
Yeah.
So if you ever get the last copy of a game there, you'll see them pull it out of a sleeve behind the counter and put it in the game and pretend like it's brand new. You're supposed
and it's got
to
your
only
mustard
take
fingerprints all over it.
A copy like that home. But yeah, there's a shrink wrap machine in there. So just because the plastic's around the thing doesn't mean anything. One of the main jobs you do as a part-time worker there is you take all the games that have been opened and you put them through the shrink wrap machine and you blow the little hair dryer on it to make the plastic shrivel up around the product to make
horrible.
it look like it's brand new.
I want my cartridge hot off the plastic pouring press, man.
Yeah.
I want it hot off the CD burner.
Yeah.
I don't want your mustard fingers all over my CD.
Now, I can say this. Working there made me, and almost every single employee I know who worked there, the most anal retentive about taking care of video games people that I have ever known. I had somebody get me, actually recently, it was my sister-in-law, her boyfriend, got me a used video game.
Yeah.
And I told my wife that I wasn't going to touch it.
Wow.
And she was like, why? You'll play it, right? I was like, I'm not going to even touch this video game. And she goes, why? I said, because it's used. And she goes, what's wrong with that? I said, it has customer film on it, okay? And I'm not going to touch that video game. There is a film on used video games that is disgusting, and it comes from people, and I don't know what product on the human body generates it, but you work in video game sale long enough and you felt it on video games, and it's disgusting, and I can't stand touching used video games. It's gross.
Wait, so if the pub, when they return it, they would return it with...
Well, yeah, because they did trade-ins, right? So we took people's used games regularly.
Is it like pizza grease on it or something?
It's just a film. Like you handle 5 games in a row and all of a sudden you do this with your fingers and something's coming off.
Is that cigarette film? Like, because if you smoke inside, and you wash the walls, you actually see when people smoke inside, you can wipe a whole layer of brown hue from the wall. Like it literally stains everything. So it would be on the disc too. Or it could just be dirt, right? Like it sits on a shelf. They don't use one of those cases we saw earlier.
No, it's
the
gross.
Neanderthals. Like
People
just leave them out in the
gross.
open. We live in a society.
We had a person who turned in games regularly. We called her Champa for not very nice reasons, but we wouldn't touch her video games. We kept them in a bag. We charged a refurbish fee for every single game without even checking them because we checked them enough. Because to open the bag, it would smell up the entire store for hours.
Ew.
We would open the bag long enough to scan them.
Yeah.
And we would reseal the bag and put them in the back and then ship them off to corporate to refurbish.
Weren't you allowed to not buy them? Like, isn't it optional for you to buy?
I don't know. It seemed like the kind of thing they would have fired us for not doing.
Really?
Yeah. All of this sounds... I feel like everything I ever thought is being confirmed about GameStop.
Oh,
it's really a dirty business.
Idea the stuff that GameStop employees get up to. The greatest thing I ever did in GameStop was I cut a Madden standee in half with a katana.
Oh, right. I've heard
You
this
told
story.
this one.
Yeah.
Okay,
that's what
I
we've
did
heard.
that. It's
Yeah.
still so good, you guys. It's the most fulfilling moment of my entire life.
Yeah.
After
You can
having
cut things
a
with
son,
you can cut it again in the katana with a VR headset. We got
Yeah,
That's true.
see?
That's
It's
true.
good.
We can
It's
set up
good.
an
Fruit
exact
Ninja
scenario. Yeah, an exact scenario of like a football player, big cardboard guy, John with a virtual sword, zip, zap, boom.
You like
Can
katanas?
relive
like,
my glory days
yeah.
with the
Could
magic
we
of
could.
VR.
Oh, I wonder if there's a GameStop world in VR.
Oh, I hope not. It's the
There's
only job I ever had that I still have nightmares to this
There's
day
a McDonald's
about
and a
working at.
Taco Bell there. That's why I'm wondering. There's a whole like strip mall, so I'm like, But yeah, that's wow. I love learning all this stuff about your game.
I love it, dude.
GameSpot or GameStop?
Stop.
GameStop.
Yeah. Spot is a website.
Software,
Stop is a
etc.
place.
Store that doesn't exist anymore and therefore can't be litigious.
They
about
got bought
anything
by
I ever did.
GameStop, which
Yeah.
and they also bought Babbage's and Electronics Boutique and cornered the market, and now they're the only ones as a result. And they're about to
In Canada,
take
they called EB Games.
Oh yeah, EB. We had EB as well for a bit.
Yeah, they were the big competition with each other. For
Well,
a
no,
while.
EB Games was Electronics Boutique, right? And then they
That's what I
changed
thought,
it.
but
It was. They did get them eventually, but they were like the last holdouts for a while.
'Cause I
it
think
wasn't
EB
uncommon for malls to have GameStop.
Then
and
what did
EB
EB stand
games.
for?
EB stood for Electronics Boutique, but they changed it kind of like KFC went from Kentucky Fried Chicken to KFC, branded wise. I think that's what EB Games became.
Okay.
I think that's what happened, if I remember
Yeah,
right.
because there was also 2 Radio Shacks, and then one Radio Shack won in the States, and the Canadian ones became The Source
That's
by
right.
Circuit City.
That's right. I mean, Circuit City.
Dumb freaking name. It's still called The Source.
Is
The
it?
Source.
Does it
You're a
say?
Radio Shack.
Is
Like,
it still say?
what is his name?
Does it still
font
say
year
by?
from
Which all life sprung from.
Does it still say by Circuit City?
I think so. I bought my
Weird.
Xbox from The Source by Circuit City. Hang on.
That's weird.
The Source.
I
Let me
used to
just
get
see.
irrationally angry if I ever went to a Circuit City and it didn't look like a giant electrical plug
No.
down for the entrance.
I know. I
It's
like
just
that.
called The Source now, guys.
Okay, because yeah, Circuit City
legend.
went out of business. They're gone. Dead.
But I know at one time it was The Source by Circuit City. I'm pretty sure. That was the whole
I like
thing.
that. I liked Ultimate Electronics, and I liked World. What was it called? The big giant one. There's one in Arizona. There was. Ultimate
Fries?
Universe. Remember
Oh,
Ultimate
no.
Universe? Did you ever go there in Phoenix? Oh,
No.
Ultimate Universe was awesome. I bought my Saturn there. It was great.
I
Now
never
it's-
heard of it. Our big one that we had for a while, though it closed, was Fry's Electronics.
Yeah, Fry's was big. Fry's is
And
still in
it-
Vegas, but it's a shithole. It's bad.
Yeah, it's a real bummer because the one here looked like the friggin' Masasi Temple from Star Wars. Like it was crazy cool looking. It was
That is
amazing.
cool. Yeah, Ultimate Universe was like that as well. It's now a Costco. So whenever I go into that Costco, because it was these places were giant warehouse video game places, and they had TVs and other stuff. But oh man, I missed that. It was so rad.
You go in there, you used to be cool, man.
Yeah, and the thing is, I realized like. I think the only game I ever bought there, I bought a Saturn and I bought a copy of Bust a Move 2 or something for the Saturn. That's the most money I ever spent in there. It was mostly me just going in and looking, and I think that's why it failed because most people were doing that. Plus, Amazon was coming and everything was changing, so those stores couldn't maintain that for much longer. I don't know how
Chat
GameStop's
mentions
still around.
CompUSA, which I also worked at.
CompUSA ripped me off once. It's a long story. I won't get into it.
That doesn't surprise me. They ripped me off too. I
Yeah.
worked there for a while.
Yeah, they were kind of bastards. All right. Let's move on to games John is playing. Wow.
If it makes you feel better, Scott, I stole a ton of stuff from CompUSA.
Oh, that's good. No, that does make me happy to hear about all these debaucherous activities that you were up to.
Not really in the direct way, but I was in charge of return merchandise and you were supposed to destroy it, like just take it
Yeah.
to a dumpster and throw it out. And
Yeah.
there were a couple people I trusted not to rat me out, and I just let them pick through it.
Yeah, because also if the policy of the store, like they do this at, I think Target does this with bikes. There was a whole story about it recently. They just throw away all these bikes that don't sell or that got returned or whatever it may be. And there's a bunch of reasoning behind why they do it, but it's so wasteful and stupid. So I actually kind of am fine with some employees going, wink,
I
wink.
felt
We're gonna.
the same way.
Yeah.
We just had a big giveaway.
What a waste.
a couple people that I trusted, I'd be like, "Hey, it's field destroy day.
Yeah.
Come to the back.
Yeah.
Let you look through some stuff."
Yeah, and you walk out of there with like a Diamond Rio MP3 player or something like that.
Yeah,
Those
it
are
was
good
never
times.
great stuff, but you got it.
You got it.
Uh,
So tell
all
me
right,
about
yeah,
Final
what I
Fantasy
played
VIII.
this
We're in.
week.
Boy, a lot of
What'd you play?
Square Enix today. Have you noticed? A lot of it. But tell me about Final Fantasy VIII, which you are now playing because you finished 7.
Yeah, I moved on to the 8th one. It's been a real journey getting it to work. I have a feeling that's Windows 11's fault.
Remastered?
Yes, remastered. That's the one I'm playing. I tried to get it modded. I couldn't get mods to work, so I'm playing it unmodded. That game is cool. It definitely is a different experience playing it as an adult as opposed to playing it as a kid. I don't remember exactly how old I was when this one came out, but like I said, when I started the stream of me playing it, I definitely remember biking home from elementary school when this game came out.
Geez.
So
Okay.
this was pre-middle school. It may have only been by a year or so, but it was a long time ago for me. And I remember really liking it. This game does not put its best foot forward like Final Fantasy VII. FF7 definitely hits the ground running. You jump off a train, you start fighting guys, you're right in the thick of it. This game really likes to talk to you about tutorials and about school and about class and seeds. There's a lot of dialogue in the beginning, but it is a pretty good game. I love the music. The big thing that is a point of contention with this game is the magic system. It uses it's kind of the replacement for materia. It uses this weird system where you draw magic from your enemies or from the world, or as I found out from a very helpful chat, directly out of items that you are carrying around. And you stock it up, and those bits of magic can be put on your attributes to make you stronger or have more health or resistant to things, which creates a very difficult to understand system, but one that can completely break the game in some incredibly fun ways as early as immediately. So this was one of the benefits of having somebody that was very knowledgeable about the game in my chat. They kept talking about doing any percent runs, so they might actually be like a speedrunner or part of that community in general. And they gave me some really fun tips, which included a ability you can teach your summons to turn items into magic. You turn your tents and big recovery items into really powerful magic right out of the gate, and then you attach that to your hit point total. And what that means is I was level 14 or so, and my hit point total should have been around 700 something. But by doing this method, my hit point total went up to 2,700 at level 14. The other cool thing that this does is because the way the limit break system works in this game, which is basically your big super moves that you can do, it is a chance on activating whenever you're considered low health. Well, now I still have 700 hit points, so I'm still at what would be normal health for the level I'm at, but that's now considered low health, so I can now limit break anything I'm fighting, pretty much nonstop.
So you broke the game. It sounds like to me.
It broke the game immediately. Now it's not going to last forever. It doesn't work forever, but you can do some really dumb things with this. And one of my big complaints about Final Fantasy VII, and I do stand by this, is I think the materia system is really cool, but I don't think it becomes really cool until too late in the game. I felt like I was on the last dungeon, and that's where they put all the really neat stuff. And all of a sudden, I'm at the end, and that's when I'm like, oh man, look at all the cool stuff I can do with the system. This is not as good of a system, but it puts it right at the beginning to mess with and lets you have a little more control over it. And I'm having a lot of fun with it. But it is a little drier. I am missing the mods. Like, modding Final Fantasy VII made me a big fan of modding these video games. But I'm having a good time with it. And the remaster looks good. It definitely gets rid of the old meme of seeing Squall's face as she says, "You're the best looking guy here," and it looks like somebody threw pixels at a wall and they exploded. So that now he actually has a face, so
Yeah.
that's appreciated.
Yeah.
But I'm so nostalgic for this. I kind of went back in my memory thinking about, my time with these games. And while I'm sure at some point I did play Final Fantasy 1 on the NES, I was probably too young to properly understand it. So in a way, in reality, I think this is the first Final Fantasy game I ever played. And it came with my PlayStation back in the day. So
Right.
it's really cool to revisit, and I'm having a good time with it.
So check this out. At the top of the show, apparently there's a fan VO mod for this.
Oh, is there?
And that's what I played at the top of the show. So when you heard this...
Why don't you take it easy in training? Next time, you might not be so lucky.
Tell that to Cypher.
That's Squall.
That's what that was from. I was wondering.
Yeah.
That definitely sounds like fan VO.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I picture a guy with thick rimmed glasses and a beard and a slightly balding head reading into the microphone. Sorry if that's what you look like. No shade or
No
shaving.
shade, no.
Just that does. I'm not whisked away to a magical land where
I might resemble that remark, and that might be exactly what I do on the stream.
Yeah.
But,
as someone with a voice and poor voice acting, myself, I can.
Sure. Although people
we should be doing these mods.
Yeah, we should. We should do them in our normal voices, I think. Because
if we, John,
yeah,
if we were to do a total voice conversion mod for any Final Fantasy or any game, which one should we do?
I don't know. Like I'm doing this one, so
well, you've
I don't
played them
think
all recently, so that's why I'm.
I had the most fun voicing characters for 6. That was the most fun. It was impossible to not do Kefka as the Joker.
Yeah.
I just fell into that trait far too often, but it was definitely the most fun one to voice.
Huh.
Hands down.
All right. Well, there you go. There's a whole fan one. At the end of the show, I got another little chunk I'll play, but it is odd. All right. So keep your eyes on that. All right. You promised last week you'd check into No Man's Sky and tell us if this new update is all that. So
I checked into No Man's Sky. I still haven't gotten to the new update content yet, but I did get up to other new update content in it.
Yeah.
So I don't have a capital ship yet, although they have started, I think as of Monday, maybe Tuesday, they did start their new seasonal event. And the cool thing about the way No Man's Sky does their little season events, if you've never done one before, is that it's usually based around an update that they've put into the game.
Mm-hmm.
And so what it tasks you to do, because when you log in, it kind of starts exactly the same, but then instead of just like going through the story or telling you to survive and explore, they give you goals. And if you follow those goals, it's kind of a shorthand where the rewards and what they then ask you to do from there shows you the best of the content patch they just added. So this new seasonal event that's going on involves you working on a big capital ship, and so I'm sure all the objectives have to do with all the stuff they just added.
Oh,
and I will
gotcha.
definitely be checking that out to kind of get a more specific idea of what was added.
Yeah.
In my game where I started over and started playing through it again, I finally got to see more of what they added with the like outlaws and becoming a fugitive and working with raiders and stuff like that. And that stuff's really cool. Like they've repurposed the old, because you could discover in No Man's Sky bases in systems that were all destroyed. And you go in, and instead of finding a bunch of people to learn words from and vendors and all of that, the base would just be deserted and like falling apart.
Oh, right.
And now they've got camps of raiders living in there, very Mad Max style, and like thrown together tents and stuff. And they sell outlawed tech mods that might be great, might not be great, but it's considered contraband in the galaxy. And if you get scanned having it, you might get the Sentinels after you. And it's really cool flavor that they've added to the world. So that stuff I've really enjoyed. I did a lot more space combat as a result, and I can tell that they've changed it. It still does kind of go into the fly in a circle and, put your laser over a circle and hold down the button until they blow up.
Yeah.
But it feels more challenging than it did before. In the past, it felt like kind of a yawn. Now, weapons seem to actually do things a little bit better. It doesn't make it a great feeling game, but it does feel better as far as the space combat.
Yeah, I didn't mess with that space combat update, so it's good to sound, or it's good to hear that it's an improvement. You know,
and I think I mentioned this last week, but they have changed the way asteroid fields work and meteors work and stuff like that. So it used to be when you would go into space, there would just be meteors all over the place. And that was because there was a resource that you mined from them that helped with your boosting through space. So they wanted to make sure it was plentiful. And so they would always have one conveniently located just above every single planet.
Yeah.
They've gotten rid of those. Now you go into space and you might see a asteroid or a meteor here and there. And some of them yield a lot more of that mineral than they did before to kind of help compensate for the lack of it. But as a result, they have like asteroid fields and stuff like that in space that you can actually go to where they're a little more interesting, and you'll see people in there mining. And I guess if you're playing a raider, you can, maybe go after them and try and get their materials as well. It's just opened up the game in some interesting ways. Feels like there's more to do, more to see. But probably the craziest thing that it happened to me playing this game, and it's worth noting, is I went to a planet that from space looked like it was going to be a tropical paradise. Blue waters and pretty islands. And it was called a infested planet.
Oh, good.
That didn't sound very good.
Yeah,
but everything else about it looked pretty good.
Yeah.
And I went down to the surface, and all of the trees and foliage looked like gnarled, thick nests. And I was like, all right. And all the color drained from the world once I entered the atmosphere. And it was just dark and foggy and gloomy. And I was like, all right, well, okay, this wasn't the tropical paradise I expected. This is a weird planet. I will land on it. And I went to land, and as my ship touched the ground, tentacles erupted from the earth and began battering my ship.
Oh,
and I
shit.
Freaked out.
Oh, there's some new stuff in this game. Oh my god, that's cool.
And I took off and I ran away from the tentacles. I started shooting them, but I was not doing very much damage to them. They did not care. And so, freaked out as they are flailing around, grasping from the earth at me, I took off, and then a giant worm erupted from the ground and flew past my ship, and then went back into the earth. And I went, I'm not going to stay on this planet for very long. And I went back up into outer space.
Well, maybe there's something worth mining as a resource for getting it. This place is intriguing, though. But yeah, it sounds dangerous.
It was full of dangers. I did eventually go back and I walked around. I didn't get the tentacles to appear again, but I did. It's full of those eggs that when you pop them, creatures pop out of the ground and attack you. So those were all over the place.
Oh, it's very dangerous there then.
Then I went under the water and I picked up a resource I found there, and a giant fish came out of nowhere and attacked me too. And I was like, this planet just wants to kill me everywhere I go. So,
we need to play this game together.
It's crazy. It is awesome. Insane. It was the coolest evil planet I've ever seen. It has I want to call them sandworms because of Dune, but I guess they aren't really necessarily. Was
this just out exploring, or was this part of Nexus missions that you found the planet?
No, this is just out exploring. Just happened to be in my system. You never find easily. You can't tell people, hey, go here. If you ever stumble upon a planet called Dark Harbor, which is what I called it, and it was discovered by Revendon. Be careful when you land on that planet. It's a bad planet.
Wow.
There's not a lot of good stuff on there.
This is great to hear, though.
Stranger Things actor.
Oh yeah, but this is a great.
There's an actor named Dark Harbor.
No, David Harbour.
David Harbour.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. I was like, what a cool name! What a bold choice they made with their stage name.
Not since Rip Torn have I heard such a cool name. for a guy. Yeah, I'm gonna get back. I installed this on the Steam Deck just today because I figured I might dive in again and see what's up. You got me kind of excited. That was one of my favorite updates I'd heard about when they said we've done stuff to planets. You're all just gonna have to see for yourselves, and that's kind of all they said about that. And that sounds like what you ran into. Like, whoa, that's almost like a living planet. That's insane.
Yeah,
I love it.
There are some really cool planets in the game right now. I'd be curious to see what you think of it in VR, Bo.
Yeah, I have been in for a few seconds, but I ended up playing some other things. It's definitely it's on my list. I think I have it installed. I want to get back into Elite Dangerous too and just take a look. It's been a while since I've played VR in there, although I did on my Oculus Rift.
Yeah.
There's so much. There's a lot to try out, But yeah, I do want to get back to some No Man's Sky. It's a great game.
No Mansky.
And that planet you described, I'm like, awesome. I want to see that planet.
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah. I hope I run into some weirdness. I'm going to try that later. So yeah, well done. Final Fantasy. No Man's Sky, once again, proving you can do a shitty launch and make one of the greatest long-running games ever made.
Yeah. Do you think we'll be like in our 80s and we'll be like, No Man's Sky, still proving that at launch, the guy himself's gonna be in his 80s, and he's like, "See, guys, we delivered." Everyone, else is.
I like that he's just a drunk sounding version of the guy.
He sounds younger. He sounds like a teen.
Hey, you guys.
See you guys. I told
see everyone. I've proven to y'all that I can
dropped
do
your
it.
taco in the
No Man's Sky is the best that it's ever been. They're like, dude, we play in cyberspace. Although I guess they're in cyberspace. Damn, you thought of everything.
Yeah.
We are cyberspace.
Yeah. That's awesome. All right. Well, now I'm going to start a fresh game tonight.
All the No Man's Sky dev has to do is let people make their own avatars and design their own worlds, and VRChat has a new home.
There you go. Nailed it.
Do it.
Real quick.
And you kind of can. They've added really wild and weird heads that you can put on your character in that game. And you really change your appearance. Not just capes. I know we've talked about capes before, which I am wearing a cape. But like for a while I looked like a shark man with a robot eye, and that was cool.
Yeah.
And now I have a cloak over like a Boba Fett helmet, like a big hood over it. Like it's crazy.
Oh my gosh! I just realized they added new slots. They used to be like you have like 4 concurrent games or something. Now you can make a bunch more. That's awesome.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
The one thing that I don't like teleportation movement VR. I thought it doesn't have continual motion for controller movement. I don't like teleport movement. That was a bit of a turn-off. Not an issue in the cockpit, but on foot, it was a little weird.
What if they let you do controller movement?
Is it changeable?
Now? Maybe.
If it's changeable, I just couldn't find the setting for it. That's why I logged off. I'm like, I couldn't find continuous movement. So I logged off and did something else. I didn't like that.
Interesting.
But maybe I missed it in the settings. So if I did, then, that's great. That's good news.
Also,
I'm with you. I know they do that to avoid people feeling sick, but I think teleportation movement is counter to the experience. And
it's just jittery. Like, yes, continuous movement can make you sick. There's sometimes when I move and I get a little disoriented, but there's way more control than if you're just like derp, 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 derp. It doesn't feel good at all. Like so.
Somebody asked during the week if this just reminded me because I'm running it on the Steam Deck right now. If the Steam Deck does suspension the way the Switch does, you hit the power button and it just keeps you where you were. It does. Doesn't matter the game. You don't have to exit and get out. It'll just keep you there.
Can you imagine that's the one negative of this thing?
Oh,
the whole thing powers down every time?
Yeah, that would suck. I would hate that. That would annoy the shit out of me. But
the one weak spot of this thing.
Yeah, doing good so far, this thing. Really enjoying it. Okay, before Bo tells us what he played, I have to pee really bad. Pause, or whatever. That's not a word.
Re-unpause.
We're back, everybody. Welcome back. We're now getting to Bo's games of the week, and he played a bunch more of Half-Life Alyx. You're a fan, yeah? You're loving it.
I'm loving it. And there's some video links there. I have some clips to discuss too.
Yeah, but that up right now.
Half-Life Alyx. I mean, I said it all last week, so I'm on to chapters 4 and 5. I went to this hotel, and I destroyed a vault, and dealt with a lot of face huggers, and also dealt with the Combine. And this clip here is showing me throwing grenades at them. So this is a game. I'm happy to report. So Half-Life is like sneakily a puzzle game, right? And I'm happy to report there's some pretty sweet puzzles in this where like you got to figure out how to unlock a door, and it's like, how do I unlock it? It's all sealed off, and you got to throw a grenade in a vent and get it through. But it took me a little while to figure it out. Like it's got stuff like that in it. It's delightful. It's a delightful little game.
Can I just take a quick moment to say, Bo, I like that you have, for your streaming of VR setup, gone, some people find watching VR streamed disorienting and strange. Let me offset that by, in my actual room, making lights spin around me in colorful madness at the same time.
Well, I'm like, no one really needs to see me, so I turned the lights low, and then I forgot when I used to do guitar Rocksmith streams, I would, have this crazy light show going on.
Right.
I mean, it's just one of those lamps you get at the CVS, those lights you get at CVS that does cool swirlies. I just plugged it in, and I still had it, so I was like, oh, let's do that. But what's been really great about Alyx, and I'm gonna try this with more VR games, is I was really insistent on, no, I got to stand up and do the real experience, but I'm actually able just to sit and play this. Which I like. That's why the continuous movement's nice, so I can move around as if I'm playing a couch controller game. Yeah, by the way, this is like a naked gun shootout where we're both behind garbage barrels shooting at each other around the corner. It feels real weird in VR. It feels lame.
This is definitely more reflective of what like a gun battle in real life would be like, but it does look so... It looks so squirrely. It's like, just poke my hand around.
yeah, I know that's me. It's literally like, boop, 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 boop. Like it doesn't look cool at all, but it feels cool when you're doing it, anyways. But yeah, no.
So this is movement with the stick, I assume, on the.
Yeah.
Okay.
So with the two, let me bring up the controllers here. With the two like controllers, you just use them like you'd use any analog stick, right? One for left, right, and then this one's for WASD movement. The difference is when you hold down and flick it, you jump. So that's how you jump.
Right.
The free look is done with
hold down and flick it.
Yeah. The free look is done with the with your head.
Yeah.
So the game, like, I don't have much new to say. I don't know why I'm doing that. But you can play with the corpses. Okay, I'm trying to find ammo. Sometimes they have ammo, but you have to look around their bodies, and I picked a very awkward way to do that by checking his butt crack. But the overall, I'm starting to just like really enjoy this game. I think is probably the best in class for VR, but it is it's what I most want to do when I come home and I'm gaming. Now that I can sit, I didn't want to play. I wasn't playing for a while because every time I felt I have to stand and do a workout and sweat in my headset. This is functioned really well as a sitting game. And the one thing I love the best is flicking. I talked about it last week, but you don't have to bend over to pick anything up. If there's something on the ground, your Russell gloves will flick them into your hand, and it's just fun to just flick things into your hand.
And it looks so good. Like they didn't spare any of the animation. Like they really. That's the thing that impresses me every time I watch this. Is just it looks so nice.
It's full production quality on the mundane things. One of the funnest things to do is open doors. Like you actually put your hand on the door handle and you got to pull it. And you never know if there's a bad guy. So one of the things you might do in a movie is open the door and hold the gun in right before. So I find myself doing that. And even at one point, it's not on this video, I see a zombie in the other room. Okay. So and I have a grenade. So I'm like, I'm going to open the door, toss the grenade in and close the door. So I arm the grenade. I go to open the door, and it's locked from the other side, and I've got a live grenade in my hand, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm gonna get blown up. So I drop the grenade and book it like a complete noob. And imagine in real life, like, okay, you're in World War II, and you're like, we're gonna get these guys, I'm gonna pull the pin, and we're gonna open the door and throw the grenade in, only to find the doors locked, and you blow yourself up like that. It's like, that was a fun experience when that happened. I laughed at myself so hard for not checking the door first.
Great.
But overall it's hugely fun. The one thing is sometimes with the jump, I accidentally flick it, and that puts you definitely in the sight of the monsters, which is not a good thing.
Sure.
When you're running away from the face huggers and you accidentally jump right into their pile, it's kind of unnerving.
Yeah.
I will say it's a scary game, but what's actually triggering, not even scary, it triggers your base human instinct. The way the face huggers jump at you every time, man, it's like a predator's coming at you. It's not like a flat screen TV. It's like your three-dimensional, your brain, your primal brain is like threat coming to eat your face. Like it really just gives you like a real visceral reaction. I know it's a video game, but just the movement alone, it's not motion sickness. It's like I feel like I get tapped into like something that's like very visceral about being pursued by a predator.
Yeah.
And that guy I'm fighting there's some armored guys. You have to shoot them in the head. And I
They're
didn't
scary.
know.
I
I
don't
always
like those
one-handed my
guys.
gun, but
Yeah.
Ziggurat, when I was streaming, said, "Oh, you actually double-hand the gun for increased stability." And I was like, "Oh, damn it! I wish I would have known that like hours ago."
Well, that's
just like a
cool.
real gun, right? You put both hands on it.
Sure.
and-
Those
and
guys
that's
look
it.
scary as hell. I don't like them. Those guys.
Yeah,
bother
no,
me.
they they do the usual combine bloody blue and because they talk on, like they're on the radio and
Yeah.
and they just come at you.
I love that stuff.
But no, you spend a lot. What's also fun is you spend a lot of time underground, so that when you get outside, you're like, oh, sunlight, like fresh air. Like it actually feels like I've been underground too long, and I'm so glad to get out. The game does a real good job of giving you like a pacing of both. And yeah, no, it remains like even the guns, like all the utility and graphics on it. It's best in class. It's a must play for sure. So there's a few clips I wanted you to see because I discovered some very interesting things. So
Here's a
you
toilet
see
one. Tell me
below.
about this toilet clip. What's going
So
on here?
first of all, we got alien tickling. Oh, toilet. So you like chorecore games? So there's actually a dirty toilet, and there's a toilet brush cleaner. I guess I'm not looking down enough. It doesn't really clean the toilet, but we were talking about you, Scott. I'm like, Scott would enjoy this game. You can clean toilets. It's like House Flipper.
We found
Wow.
Scott's thing. It's right here.
Wow.
It's kind of hard to hold the toilet seat up. You got to use it. Doesn't stay up on its own, but
Yeah.
you can like see how there's like that base
Yeah.
for the toilet bowl cleaner. Like you can pull it out and actually hold on to it and use the toilet bowl cleaner. So yeah, we just wanted to share that with you.
These
We
kind of
think you.
details are amazing. So here, okay, so here's don't rub them the wrong way. This is the alien tickling.
This is so there is an alien. Let me set this up. There's an alien who spawns grenades. Oh, am I still here?
Yeah, you're still here. You're
Okay.
going.
There's an alien who spawns grenades, but he doesn't want to give it to you. So in order to give it to you, and I figured this out way too quick. It says a lot about me. He has a little like sort of testicle-looking base.
Yeah.
You got to rub the testicle, and then he'll be distracted and let go of the grenade. So see, with one hand, I'm patting his belly, but it looks like a dirty old alien testicle. And then his little penis stalk that spits out a grenade will then give it to me. But if you try and take it without rubbing it, it grabs it and moves out of your way.
Oh wow.
And I'm like, holy shit! Like this is like they knew what they were doing when they made this. It obviously looks like alien stuff.
Yeah.
But it feels like a dong and scrotum. Like I've got one hand on the base, I'm rubbing it, and then the present comes out. You know, it's. And I needed to show you video evidence of this because it's kind of insane.
I didn't expect.
I was like, I can't believe they put that in this game. Like, you know, there's like suggestive, and there's like okay, like this.
Yeah.
It's very. Anyways, I enjoyed it. But
Yeah.
the thing that I was laughing about was that I figured it out so quickly. Like, there's some puzzles where I'm like, I don't know how to get through. Like, I have to think about this. It's like, oh, I can't get the grenade. Let me rub his testicle. Oh, hey, I got it.
here
Great.
is.
I'm good at this
I
puzzle.
love that you.
Like,
I love that you
They
very
made
quickly.
a puzzle for Bo.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's the game has like neat little surprises like that are not in other Half-Life games, but are like Valve style, like, you know, weird things. And yeah, it's good.
Nice.
So yeah, that's Half-Life Alyx, game of the year for Bo for sure.
Oh man, look at
to
you
wrap
already
up.
picking it. Okay.
I love it, and I think you should play it, Scott. And you should stream it if you ever want to do another Scream stream. Like, I know I'm usually on team. Let's be nice to Scott. Let's not make him scream and get scared.
Yeah.
But I think this would.
I have the game.
I think it would be milder.
Yeah.
Than Resident Evil 7's hardcore, right?
Yeah,
but I think you would still find. I think there'd be a good middle ground.
Well, I have it, and I just have not hit start. I don't know why I haven't. I think because I'm.
You got to give yourself a time. I know you feel like just thumb candy, which is cool, but when you're like, I got to get into something. I want to try my thing. It has a dedicated spectator mode. You can see my ammo and stuff, so it's actually pretty good for streaming. They thought about that.
Yeah.
So give it a thought. Anyways.
Okay. All right. I've got it. I'll just install it and do it and pick a time.
Yeah, no rush. But I love this game. I'm definitely gonna be playing it again. I'm halfway through it, so I'm looking forward to more.
Tell me about next week. Tell me about Spell Slingers. I've never even heard of this. I guess it's Magic's mobile game or something.
We kind of like have an obsessively hateful relationship to mobile games overall on the show, just by tenor of our conversations. Even though that's not entirely true.
Sure.
We have a lot of negative to say about it. And one of the things that I had to say was just, it sort of proved to me something I said about these games show up and nobody even knows they exist and they make tons of money. I was on the Wizards of the Coast site randomly. I can't remember why. I was looking some stuff up unrelated.
Yeah.
And you look at their catalog of games and they have this game called Spell Slingers. I'm like, Spell Slingers? What the hell is that? Well, as it turns out, they have a mobile game on iOS. I downloaded it. That is a Hearthstone, it's Magic but simpler. It looks just like Marvel Snap. Is that it? The video you're showing?
Yeah, there's just have some famous people playing it. There's
that's a different thing. That's not Spell Slingers. This is a day 9 program of celebrities playing.
Well, it says
real Magic
Spell Slingers season 3 trailer.
So this is what it looks like. Yeah, that's not it. It's for Spell Slingers mobile game. It looks like this.
Can't find it.
I'm showing you here. It might. That's what I mean. Is it's so their Twitter account has 100 followers, follows 0, and is tweeted once a year ago.
Weird.
It's virtually non-existent, but they're here to take my money, and it's fully functional. It may be in beta, and maybe it's not available in the U.S. But so is there even any Spell Slingers videos on YouTube at all?
So here's what I found. Where is Spell Slingers available? Android, iOS, and PC in certain countries. Right now, let's see, Australia, Canada, Ireland, New Zealand, and United Kingdom. That's why I don't see any of this stuff here. That explains it. I don't know why YouTube is bereft of it, but
it's real weird. Okay, so I found a bit of a video showing it here on a big screen. So here, try this.
Steam version's only Australia and New Zealand at the current moment. So
well, it's in Canada too because I downloaded it and I have it. As you can see, it's on my phone.
No, but I mean, is it on PC though? Is it Steam?
No. It's a mobile game.
No, that's what I was saying. They've got a PC version, and they say it's on Steam, but only in Australia and New Zealand right now.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I misunderstood.
No, it sounds like you could sync your stuff though if you played it that way. I'm guessing.
Yeah, so I guess this is another version of this is the thing, right? It's not hey, we're Wizards of the Coast. When we launch things, it's you hear about their new books everywhere. You hear about the new set and all the gaming sites we go to. They're developing a mobile game, and I'm not sure why it's not being marketed in the same way. Hey guys, hype! We have a mobile game.
I think it's just not.
And I'm oh no, they're not going to hype this because they're just going to get a lot of vitriol. They're just it's not hidden. It's out. It's on the Wizards of the Coast site.
Yeah,
but it's a comments turned off kind of deal. You know what I mean? It's not like they're actively seeking engagement for these mobile games because they'll sell. And eventually it might get picked up or whatever. It's just, I don't think it matters. I just don't think it's part of the strategy overall to engage with the internet zeitgeist in that way. Because it actually looks pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Like all sort of high-class mobile games, all your planeswalkers are cartoony animated. It's a Hearthstone-ified version of their cards. So instead of enters the battlefield, it's got a keyword. See, even that graphic of the crab jumping out, it's Hearthstone, but in a Marvel Snap kind of display.
Sure.
Anyways, I played a little bit of the tutorial and stuff, and it's great, but it is mobile practices. It's just monetized to the brim. Yeah. And I played it, so the review is sort of the same as what I would say. Diablo Immortal, it's I think it would almost be a 10 on 10 product. Looks well programmed, put together, all that stuff, but monetization is very sketch.
Sure.
Anyways,
per usual.
So that's why I just bring it up for that reason. Like, here's this game that exists but doesn't really exist.
Yeah, it is, it is a little stealthy. I mean, I understand when a game is only released in certain territories that it's a quieter thing, but usually you're hearing people talk about it. I haven't heard of this till you brought it up. So
we even heard about that, that ARPG that lasted all of 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Right? Like, like we've heard less about this, and like I think the potential money on this thing, it looks good. Like it doesn't. So anyways,
out.
doing my duty on core and reporting from the front lines.
Nice.
Like, hey, there's this game, and it's probably going to make millions and millions of dollars.
It'll probably do pretty well. Yeah.
So yeah, and it's a good mobile game, I guess.
I'll check it out when it comes here. I think I'd look at it.
So that's why. So I played some of that. Most of what I did the past week was play Heroes of the Storm.
Heroes of the Storm, the hot new, very supported, not on it's maintenance mode at all. MOBA from Blizzard.
Yeah, and I played a lot of games this week. I'm playing tons of Zeratul. I was also playing Heroes to get more gold borders, and I played some Ranked. There are people still playing Ranked. The wait time says 10 minutes, but actually it's been less. It's been more in the 4 to 5 minute range. It's slow, but not terrible.
That's a game that is wildly successful by all other metrics, unless you're Blizzard.
Or Square Enix.
Enix, yeah.
Especially Square Enix. Annoying. They hate Heroes of the Storm.
Chad has a good point about this mobile game. Maybe they feel like it would deter people from playing Magic Arena, which is their mobile game.
Oh, sure. Like, wouldn't the number one criticism be, why don't you make a mobile version of Arena? In fact, that exists already.
Yeah, it's already there.
So why are you making another mobile game of the same game? Because we're not making enough money.
Yeah.
We're not making enough money. We have these brands, these IPs. Why are we not exploiting them for every single penny that we can squeeze out of the financial...
That's right. Pay Day 9 to talk about it more with Alan Tudyk. That's what I say.
No, they're playing real Magic, Scott. That's a different thing.
Still, they got all the money. They got the money.
They're not trying to advertise this at all. So, like, why are they even doing it? Yeah. Right? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, what's the deal?
It's really, really weird. And you know what? It made me think, Ben Brode made a mistake. His mistake wasn't that he mispriced things. I know there's a lot of chatter about the game today, and we didn't give any news about that because honestly, no one here is following it.
I don't care that much till it comes out for real. So
he made a mistake. He talked about the game.
Yeah.
What all this should have been was a sweet trailer on the Marvel site, and boom, launch,
done,
and people play.
Yep.
And they give millions. Like. This notion that you're going to create it's a nice dream. I like to see it, but when your monetization practice is what it is,
stealth release it.
You're just a target for you're just based on how everyone feels about these things. It's not a good time. Maybe in the future everyone's going to be totally fine.
Yeah, that's actually not a bad idea. Stop the hype train a little bit and just go, here's the thing we did. And it'll still make your millions and your billions. You don't need to go full like celebrity developer on everybody and make us mad at you.
Send Raven's even like, oh look, a dead horse in the chat room.
Look at it, I was gonna beat it.
Yeah, he's already in, or she's already in. You guys still going on about your wallets?
Yeah. What's the deal with wallets? All right. Anyway, well done.
That's what I played though. Lots of Heroes. Heroes is a great game, and I am happy to be back playing it.
Nice. So. All right, real quick here before we get out of here, I want to thank some patrons. We got a bunch of new ones this week. My gosh, brand new people. And this Seb guy showing up everywhere. He's like on all the Patreon things that happen on Frog Pants. I'm very grateful for that dude or lady. I don't know. Anyway, Seb, Roman Paw, Metanfros, which also says Seb R. I don't know what that is. Rich Henny, Lars Newen, Michael Marin, and James Courier, and someone named Lap.
I love that name, Lap.
Lap is good. I like that a lot. It's pretty good.
I mean, I shouldn't laugh. It might be a short form of a name of a different language, and it's not funny at all, but it just sounds like, get on my lap.
It does sound like get on my lap as well. But
it's my English brain.
Yeah, either way, we're very grateful for all of you. If you would like to be supporters like these guys, take advantage of the cool benefits that are there waiting for you, head on over to patreon.com/core show today. For everything else, it's frogpants.com/core, and we'd love to hear from you. Send us your emails, talktothecore@gmail.com. And while you're at it, follow us on Twitter. Bo is at Bo Schwartz. I'm at Scott Johnson. John is at John_Jagger. And the show can be found at CorePod. We record every Thursday at 5 p.m. Mountain Time right here at twitch.tv/frogpants. That'll do it for us. John, do you want to try to sum up any of this in your grandma voice? How you feeling over
sure.
there?
We can do that.
All right. So here, our new way of ending the show, John goes old lady, and we find out what we did today on Core. John, take it away.
There's some of you that didn't follow exactly what games we were talking about as we went through them, so I'm going to recap them for you in case you missed a title, because I know you're very busy. Scott played Need for Speed Hot Pursuit, the remake, and he played Outriders, which is the video game equivalent of vanilla. He also played a lot of retro games on deck. I don't know what that means, but he wrote it and I said it.
Yep.
John played Final Fantasy VIII, that's the 8th one, and No Man's Sky, which is a sexist space game. Bo played Half-Life Alyx, which is a game in VR, which is where he lives now. We all saw the opening, and we all saw he's got a lot of avatars, so if you're talking to the Cybertron or the Furry Man, you might be talking to Bo.
That's what we played.
That's
And
great.
Here's the storm.
I love Grandma. Grandma rocks. All right, that's going to do it for us. Thanks for listening. Go play some video games. And even if you don't want to hear a story, there's plenty of them out there that are just fun. Okay, that's what I learned this week. Sometimes you just want to have fun. Go have fun, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Yes. Get more at frogpants.com.
You want to be cool, huh? Well, don't get hurt in the process.
Oh, that VO is so bad.